Believe it? Cece's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuff. Try them all and your other Cece's favorites for just $5 and change. The Cece's buffet just got better. Believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Almost forgot. We have AC Milan and Bayern Munich tonight at Soldier Field. Should be good. Chicago's morning answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Patchy fog for the morning, otherwise a hot and humid day with clouds and sun, a high of 90. Tonight, partly cloudy with a late night shower or thunderstorm around with a low 68. Then clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. Not as warm but humid, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare, 72 along the lakefront, 73 Midway. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Boy, oh boy. How about the Chicago White Sox?
Well, what do you... I was cheering on, Bill Clinton's 40-minute speech about the love of his wife.
Yeah, we'll get to the
I'm sure
yarn about the little change maker who stole Bill Clinton's heart. We'll get to that in a second, but first...
Oh, no, I thought we were going to talk about that all morning
First,
long.
boy, I'll tell you what, all you Cubs fans who thought this was the 25-man roster that was going to bring home a ring, that's the team that's gotten shut down by Miguel Gonzalez and James Shields over the last 2 nights. Just a point of order. I mean, those are serviceable starters, but it's not exactly the top flight pitching they're going to face down the stretch. By the way, just in, don't look behind you. The Cardinals are 5.5 games out. Oh no!
Oh no!
Here it's happening again.
Is it coming? Well, here's the deal. Enjoy your little 2-game victory because it's going to end tonight. But congratulations, you're above 500 now.
We're at 500.
Oh, you're at 500.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
Back in the play. I mean, nothing to spark a playoff run like playing the Cubs. And so the Sox are back in the wild card chase.
Cute. It's so cute you guys win 2 in a row. It's cute. It's sweet. Now tonight's the serious game. Tonight's the real game. 7:05 start.
Oh, these 2 games in the last 2 they didn't count?
They're warm-ups for the team. They're warm-ups for the Cubs. And tonight, since I got tickets for our general manager, you didn't.
I'm just happy to get tonight's game over so I don't have to listen to your suck-uppery anymore.
12th row, did I mention?
Yeah.
But tonight's the comeback night. So don't get all mad. Handle your loss tonight like a man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw any temper tantrums. Don't become like Sean from Elmwood Park and start getting all agitated.
No. I'm just saying. I mean, if the Sox could play the Cubs another 62 times,
that
would really be a glide path to another championship because we won one just about a decade ago.
Yeah. But
about
it's
10 fewer decades.
Sad that we didn't score any runs, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's fun, though.
How was your friend? Who took my seat last night? Because I waited for you to pick me up.
Well, I had 8 seats.
Oh, see now.
So
now
I mean, there were so
topper.
many. I mean, just want you to understand.
You had your own section
where you fall on ye old totem pole.
Wait a minute, seriously?
At the bottom.
You had 8 seats and you still didn't invite me?
Yeah, that's right.
So why not?
I mean, have I not made that clear?
That is so. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's me or because I'm a Cub fan? Here's my Cubby blue I'm wearing for today.
Yeah.
For tonight's victory.
All right, then the rally colors are out. Good luck
who
with
made
that.
who made the starting lineup?
Just an assortment of important, committed Sox fans.
And where were your seats? Do you have fancy seats?
And seats in a couple of different sections.
Oh.
Were
you working it?
These are big games. Especially for us outsiders with a bit of inferiority complex. Trying to pack the stadium and have that energy.
Was it standing room only again?
Yeah, it was a full house.
Good.
And
it started early, so you could get to come home to watch the DNC.
And I'm
'Cause
glad
I watched the entire thing.
I'm glad because,
Ooh.
Clinton, as expected, started to get into Trump territory with the length of his stem winder.
He couldn't help himself.
What did you? It's interesting. There's actually some fairly positive reactions to the notorious Bill. His speech from the right this morning. What was your reaction? Did you fall in love with Hillary Clinton all over again, just as he has for the 37th time?
I fell in love with Bill Clinton all over again.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact this was uncommonly personal. I've never heard this story before. I think we should start off
He
the
just
show.
made it up. That's why.
In 1971, I met a girl. You take it from there. What happened?
I don't know.
That's how he started it.
They got
1971,
married and stuff.
I met a girl. Oh, no, the courtship. She went, thank you. She saw him in the law library.
Yeah.
She walked up to him and said, well, if you're going to keep staring at me, you might as well know my name. My name is Hillary Rodham. And he was wowed. And then the next day they met. She had to register for classes. Bill.
With those big
registered with her.
glasses.
Yes, that's what he said, with her big blonde
Yeah.
hair and her big glasses. He waited in line with
yeah.
her at registration, back when you had to register together. When you had to wait in line. And when he got up there, the lady said, Bill, what are you doing here? You registered yesterday. Hey-oh. So he was
And
just
as I
acting as
told
if he
you
had registered.
yesterday, please put pants on.
It did feel a little creepy at first because he said I was trying to lean over to her to touch her back, but I couldn't reach her. Like, touching, don't talk about touching, Mr. Cigar Man. Okay? No touchy. We tell kids not to touch, boundaries. And he said I
That
reached
was-
for her back.
That was in those
I
days
couldn't get
before safe spaces, before microaggressions. It was a simpler time.
It was romantic. I have to
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you, it was really romantic. And then he drove her home to her house in Park Ridge. Dad was what did he say? Not curmudgeon-y conservative. And her brothers were conservative, but her mom was a little bit liberal. So he bonded with her mother.
Sure. Her dad was country and her mom was a little rock and roll. Yeah.
But there were no
Heard that story
African Americans in Park Ridge. That it was it was a white community. People in the audience like, not white. Park Ridge, this just in. Park Ridge is a white community.
Mm.
Okay.
There are white people that live there.
Yeah,
Still
and
to this day. I know, it's bizarre.
Did you feel uncomfortable
The speech?
watching it?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess no.
It
If you're going to suspend disbelief and listen to what a guy impeached for lying under oath has to say, I mean, I guess it was a good way to spend 40 minutes. I don't know.
It was romantic.
If you love this country, you're working hard, you're paying taxes, and you're obeying the law, and you'd like to become a citizen, you should choose immigration reform over somebody that wants to send you back.
How is that romantic? What part of the love story was that?
A real change maker represents a real threat. So,
This is part of the
You're
romance.
only-
What part of the courting was this? His little
Maybe
change
you
maker.
have part of the courting.
His little change maker.
Yeah, she's a little changey. Choo-choo, the change maker. Hop
Yeah.
on board.
Cue the Streisand.
in the spring of 1971,
See?
I met a girl.
You have the romantic spots.
Yeah,
Ah,
I like
see?
Bill Clinton and Hillary. I'm just another silly heart.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm a sucker
Pulling
for
for the kiddies.
young love at Wellesley. Ooh.
After the class, I followed her out, intending to introduce myself.
They call that stalking.
I got close enough to touch her back,
Creepy.
but I couldn't do it. Somehow I knew this would not be just another tap on the shoulder.
Wait for it.
That I might be starting something I couldn't stop.
It's funny. He said the same thing the first time he took Cialis. It's funny. It's interesting.
It's so great. It's like, you know what that is? He ripped that off. He plagiarized the Hallmark card. Because I have read a Hallmark card. Once I met you, I knew I could start something that I could not stop.
Yeah.
That the love was greater than both he and Hillary. That there was this calling.
I thought it sounded familiar when he said, I remember telling Hillary, I can't quit you. But the best darn little change maker this side of the Mason-Dixon line, I'll tell you.
Well, she's insatiably curious. She's a natural leader. She's a good organizer. And she's the best darn change maker I ever met in my entire life.
It did, though, make me fall in love with their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding. I thought it was, again, it was
They're
a little
a fun couple.
It was a little uncomfortable. I mean, who doesn't meet their husband at the law library? Come on. But he's trying to humanize her. Everybody that was there last night was trying to humanize her. Your girl, Cecil the Lion, she spoke for about 5 minutes.
Cecile Richards.
Cecile Richards,
Yeah. Planned
Didn't really,
Parenthood.
yeah. And Madeline Albright spoke. Who else? Oh, Barbara Boxer spoke. Now, did you know this? That her grandson is Hillary's nephew.
Didn't know that. Not surprised to find out that the family trees don't have a lot of branches there in the Democratic Party.
We'll play it later. I mean, she went on about what a great aunt she is. Because we all strive to be great aunts and uncles,
Great. Well, here's the proposition that, and nobody makes a proposition like Bill Clinton. The proposition he presented about his betrothed.
What's the difference in what I told you and what they said? How do you square it? You can't. One is real, the other is made up. And you just have to decide. You just have to decide which is which, my fellow Americans.
Yeah. One's real, the other's made up. And I mean, would Bill Clinton lie to us?
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Some are still feeling the burn. We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast. Today, times of clouds and some sun. It'll be hot and humid, a high of 90 degrees. And tonight for the Cubs-Sox game at Wrigley Field, where the Sox are going to lose, it's going to be partly cloudy and warm, a spotty shower or thunderstorm around late, so after the game finishes. And tomorrow, partly sunny, not as warm, but humid with a shower or thunderstorm, a high of 79. Let's get those travel times. Any activity around Wrigley Field, Jim Telemonte?
Not yet, Amy. Good morning. And good morning, Dan. There is, however, a crash on the inbound Kennedy at Addison, west of Wrigley Field. On the Kennedy, it's in the express lanes. There's a right lane blocked. Not seeing any significant delay. Traffic volume still pretty light. The local lanes are all open. Traffic's moving along fine there. Again, it's on the inbound Kennedy at Addison in the right express lane. No delays to report on the Edens, the Eisenhower, the Stevenson. Inbound ride just a little congested approaching downtown. On Bishop Ford, same deal, a little heavy approaching the merge. Tollways all good. No delays to report on I-80 or in Northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
If you suffer sinus congestion, trouble breathing through your nose, which gets worse when you lie down, facial pain, and sinus infections, antibiotics, nasal sprays, and steroids can only do so much. I'm Dr. Robert Deitch, and excited to tell you that recent advances in our field have opened exciting new doors. We're leading experts in a newer procedure called balloon sinus dilation that gently expands your natural sinus openings to fix underlying drainage problems. It takes 15 minutes and is performed in our office. Balloon sinus dilation is minimally invasive using local anesthesia and best of all delivers immediate and long-lasting relief. We're board-certified ENT specialists who can help you avoid expensive hospital visits and long recovery times.
For immediate and long-lasting relief from your sinus problems, call ENT Associates today at 847-882-5888 or visit nosinusproblems.com. That's ENT Associates at 847-882-5888. 882-5888 or online at nosinusproblems.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah. Billy, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize
Wait, you gotta
me.
wait for it. Ready?
Don't
for the refrain?
Don't desecrate the memory of Notorious B.I.G. because you're about to. Don't do it.
I have to be on. It's for the refrain part. Ready? You ready?
No.
Fine.
Yeah. Let it fade out before this gets ugly in here.
I'm breaking a sweat. It's hot.
So
my Cubs gear.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you react to that apocryphal tale of love that Bill Clinton spun out at the beginning of his speech yesterday? Because I'll tell you, one dude on MSNBC wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, the A+ for the end of the speech. I think the beginning of the speech was a controversial way to start, honestly. Talking, a girl, leading with this long story about him being attracted to an unnamed girl and thinking about whether he was starting something he couldn't finish. Building her whole political story for the whole first half of the speech around her marriage to him. I think, lest there were worries that this is going to be too feminist a convention, that was not a feminist way to start. But the end of the speech was really good. I got to say that the top of the speech I found shocking and weird.
Shocking and weird. I
That's
thought it was
what. So
cool.
what
Was
do
it Rachel Maddow?
Yeah. What do you think about that dude's opinion?
The feminist start to his speech.
Yeah.
He's just a
not
girl
feminist.
falling in love with a boy falling in love with a girl.
It's the old story: boy meets girl.
Last night was all about
girl.
humanizing.
Girl dies in tragic blimp accident over the Super Bowl. Or the Rose Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday. What was the Naked Gun line?
No, I mean seriously, all yesterday was trying to humanize Hillary Clinton. Her approval ratings are what 68% of Americans don't trust her. So it's trying about building trust in people who love her, mothers of the movement, Madeleine Albright. All these people come forward. Howard Dean. Everyone came forward to try and make her look more human than political.
Well, yeah, but that dude Maddow.
But
I mean,
why was she so offended? Maybe because she's never experienced love. Jealous. She's jealous.
Envious.
Oh. Or excuse me.
Jealous
envious.
is like you're jealously protecting something.
Oh, okay.
Envious is the.
Thank you, Dan.
The one of the 7 deadlies, and you don't want to be practicing the 7 deadlies.
What are the 7 deadlies?
President Clinton.
Envious. Can we go over this now, or do we not have enough time?
Go rent the Brad Pitt Morgan Freeman movie on your free time for your VCR there.
Time,
go to Blockbuster over there in Lakeview, and rent that film. But so you didn't see that story? I just a girl falling in love with a boy.
Yeah, what movie was that from?
I don't know.
Remember, you
They're all
know
the
what I'm
same.
talking about? It's all the same.
It was probably Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But what about that? What about the feminist critique there? You're a self-styled feminist.
I am a recovering feminist. No, I'm a Republican feminist.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in equal pay and equal rights and equal treatment.
And saying it in Ed Rendell's voice.
I was not offended. I felt a little uncomfortable when he started telling the story because I don't think we've ever heard this story before. I've never personally heard the story of how they fell in love, and I loved when he talked about
gaze over the stacks at Yale Law School.
Yes. Yeah. Have you heard this story before?
No, he wrote it yesterday.
He didn't.
And
he didn't.
How many of these long walks they've had where they
late night sushi,
hot
tubs,
where they talk about
go to Haiti for their honeymoon. Who goes to Haiti for their honeymoon?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're always out there doing the Lord's work. It's just what they do. Don't make a big thing about it. It's just what she does, Amy. She's out there from the beginning. She's compiling reports. She's filing reports.
Well, one thing that I did learn is that I always thought that he
being
dragged
reported upon.
Yeah, I always thought that he dragged her into politics. She actually dragged him into politics because she was already involved in certain organizations and charities, and so he followed her lead.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought that she folled his lead.
Oh, yeah.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Kurt and Bolingbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, It's called Notting Hill. That's the movie.
Oh, Hugh Grant?
Hugh Grant.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and Julia Roberts.
Roberts.
Well, Hugh Grant and Bill Clinton have a lot in common in terms of their personal life.
Oh, come on.
Remember? Did we remember? Thanks
with
for
the
call, Kurt.
prostitute in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he went on Late Night with Jay Leno.
That's what I'm referring to.
Remember?
Yeah.
When he went on the Late Show with Jay Leno.
You're
And
doing
he
a
said,
great Chris Farley impersonation. Do you remember when you got caught in the car with the prostitute? That was awesome. Well,
no,
not
and
actually
he
wasn't
admitted
so
it.
awesome.
But he admitted it on air as one of those. Ooh, hey.
What was that prostitute's name? Precious or something? Or
Promise.
Promise or...
Poochie.
No, it wasn't that. It was a different kind of name.
Diamond?
It was something like that. I don't remember.
Now you're going to make me Google it.
I can't keep, all
I
the
can't keep it.
Hollywood stars and
Hugh
prostitutes and
Grant's-
keeping track of all these names, politicians. Ed and Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, you guys are carrying on like this is a 5-star movie, love story, or something like that.
It
Who
is.
cares how they met? And who cares? I never heard this story before. It's absolutely sickening listening on the other end of this radio. You guys want to have puppy love stories? Go do it somewhere else. You guys are here to inform us and move us on, not
Wow,
this
Ed.
crap.
Do you
Have
think-
a nice day.
Thanks
Do you
for
think Ed's envious of their relationship?
Ed, be my Valentine. Ed.
And Ed, you'll like this. Here's a follow-up. The Hugh Grant's sex worker that he hired was Divine Brown.
Divine
Brown.
Divine.
Okay.
That was close.
Thanks,
That was
Ed,
in the
for-
ballpark.
For playing.
I mean, Ed, gosh,
He's
Ed.
so
I mean,
angry.
at 5:30 in the morning, you're just have a little hat tip to love.
In the spring of 1971.
I'm kind of
I met a girl.
I'm filled with good feelings. We're in the center of my chest where a heart should be because the Sox won. So I'm giving him a bit of a pass on his love story. What's wrong with that? And by the way, I mean, she's run interference for him for the last 20 years.
yeah.
Why can't he do a little vast right-wing conspiracy rap for her at the convention?
He did.
Turnabout and all that. Bill in the loop. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Bill.
Hey, one of the key components of Bill's little love story that you forgot to mention was Hillary failed the bar exam when she took it out east. But previously on one of her visits to Arkansas, she did take the Arkansas bar exam and passed it. So when her little plans of conquering the world fell apart out east, that's when she made the decision to move to Arkansas. And I wonder if little Billy Boy had something to do with her passing that bar exam in Arkansas. Just saying.
Thanks for the call, Bill. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. He did. He also kind of glossed over the late '90s in
Well,
little story that he told.
Stuff.
Glossed over that second half of that second term, didn't
Well,
he?
he did say he didn't say that, we're not going to talk about the dark days that they had together, but he did say that they've cried together. So I processed that as that was the 90s.
Yeah, all right. He
cried because he got caught.
Hillary, Monica, all had a good cry.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your work is stressful. Pressure, deadlines, and challenges can take a toll. Factor in caring for your elderly family member, and the struggle for life balance can be overwhelming. Enter Alliance Home Service. From your first meeting, you'll begin to achieve balance. As professionals, Alliance specializes in medical and non-medical care, including nursing. As a leading family alternative to nursing home and institutional care, they match a caregiver to your loved one, helping maintain a positive lifestyle for your entire family. Caregivers have the highest level of training and expertise. With highly competitive regular pricing and a special introductory rate, you'll experience the cost efficiency of in-home care and the level of care you'll expect from family. Schedule a no-obligation private care consultation and you'll receive a $50 restaurant.com gift card. Call founder and registered nurse Linda Weiler at 866-227-3459 or visit alliancecaregiver.com. That's 866-227-3459 or alliancecaregiver.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
The success of a mid-sized business often comes down to one thing: managing your cash flow. I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, we take a personalized and proactive approach to structuring your cash management solutions to keep your financial assets safe and working for you. Our automated accounts receivable and accounts payable technology allows your business to grow without adding to your overhead expenses. And what truly sets Signature Bank apart is our personal approach. We get to know your business by rolling up our sleeves to work alongside you. Call me today for a review of your company's operational challenges.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Text from 708. Only late night walks the Clintons were taking were looking for spots to dump bodies.
Got aggressive quickly. Okay, if you're a regular listener to our show, which I know you are, you've heard about Turnkey IT, Chicagoland's leading IT service provider for small businesses. Now, Turnkey provides world-class support and customizable plans for businesses that have 5 to 100 users. With some programs, you get all new equipment, free security, and antivirus protection. Sound good? Then why haven't you called Turnkey IT? Well, here is Turnkey IT's best offer yet. Through the summer, all AM 560 listeners receive their first month of service for just $1. That's right, $1 for your first month. Your business receives comprehensive coverage, including unlimited help desk and on-site support, network hosting, antivirus protection, and again, it's first contracted month for just $1. Ready to make the switch? Well, it's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. Now, that's turnkey.pro, and tell them AM 560 The Answer sent you so you can focus on the important things and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. Oh,
a little Tone Loc. And Bernie Sanders' insurrection at the convention, 538.
And a tearful plea from Bernie Sanders' brother. Oh, emotional. But here, into the newsroom we go, is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 71. President Barack Obama set to join the festivities today as the Democratic National Convention celebrates the nomination of the first woman presidential candidate from a major party.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Hillary Clinton formally capturing the Democratic nomination yesterday. Her husband, former President Bill Clinton, gave an expansive and passionate testimonial.
It was a story about the personal side, intertwined with the political side of Hillary Clinton. And it was an important speech because so many people, as he pointed out, in his view, characterize her as a cartoon.
The shadow of Hillary Clinton rival Bernie Sanders looming large over the DNC. Correspondent Mark Smith on the streets of Philadelphia.
Hundreds of protesters from several different groups marched down Broad Street. Many diehard Bernie Sanders backers who said they'll never vote for Hillary Clinton.
It's up to the people to put mad pressure on whoever is in power to serve us. And if I did vote, it would be for a third-party candidate.
But their agendas went beyond the meeting Democrats. Organizers for one group, calling itself a Black and Brown Resistance March on Police Brutality, told sympathetic white protesters they should move to the rear. Mark Smith at the Democratic Convention, Philadelphia.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump will be on Reddit tonight during the Democratic National Convention, participating in Reddit's Ask Me Anything forum. He plans to start answering questions around 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Coast Guard says 2 vessels which came to the rescue have picked up 46 who abandoned their sinking fishing boat in the Bering Sea off the Alaska coast and near the Aleutian Islands. An investigation is underway following a deadly shooting involving 3 teens on Chicago's west side. Governor Mike Pence praising his successor in the Indiana governor's race, calling new Republican nominee a man of great integrity. Lieutenant Governor Eric Holcomb selected by the Indiana Republican Party Tuesday to replace Pence, who was plucked to be Donald Trump's vice presidential nominee. White Sox blanked the Cubs 3-0. The news service of Burger King's grilled dogs. Where are you going to get that delicious grilled hot dog? Your backyard? Nope. Burger King. Burger King grilled dogs made with 100% beef, flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled dog today at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
537 Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy, traffic is stop and go in the express lanes from Keeler to Addison with a crash in the right lane. The left local lane at Addison is partially blocked with that as well, but there's a little delay in the locals. The outbound side is fine. It is about a 5-minute delay in the express. Eden's clear. Eisenhower as well. No problems Freeport on the Stevenson. The inbound Ryan has a 3-minute delay coming into downtown. Fisher Ford, about a 2-minute delay Cottage Grove to the merge. Traffic is a service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better. Believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most on Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Hot and humid today. High near 90. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MJ Miller & Company Jewelers. All that glitters is gold at MJ Miller Jewelers in downtown Barrington.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Listen to Freedom any time of any day. Go to walshfreedom.com/podcast. Freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, well, it's been a mixed first couple of nights for the Democrats in Philadelphia, right? You've got their all-stars, former president, current first lady, a couple of 70-year-old socialists. That's good for them. That's as good as they're going to do. But
and
then
Elizabeth Warren was sitting in the box with Chelsea yesterday.
Yeah.
Like holding her hand during the whole session.
Sweet.
And her dad was telling of the love story between her and her mom.
Right, 71, and yeah. But the flip side is you had a Bernie Sanders walkout. Sanders delegates walk out. I shouldn't say Bernie Sanders. His delegates walking out. Again, little reminder to those that think politicians have coattails and politicians control the people who vote for them. Most people kind of instinctively, even if they haven't contemplated it this way, instinctively see politicians as the means to their particular desired ends. They're not necessarily, kind of going to follow Bernie Sanders to a place that they don't want to go.
Yeah, but did
and
you see
that's what Bernie's finding out. And the walkout yesterday, and the kind of the silent protest, some of it was silent, some of it wasn't. Here's what you get with the rabble associated with Bernie Sanders. Someone setting an Israeli flag on fire while this is right outside the Wells Fargo Center, while people chanting, "Long live the Intifada."
Long live the what?
The Intifada, which is, the Intifada. It's Arabic for rebellion. Like, this is anti-Israeli state. This is a day or 2 days after now. Hank Johnson, our friend from Georgia, the Democrat congressman from Georgia, who thought Guam was going to capsize if we put more troops on Guam, referring to Israelis as termites in an anti-Israeli occupation event. And I just go back again, not only Bernie Sanders' faith being questioned by the DNC, that's come out in the emails, But all of this anti-Semitism, and a related story, by the way, anti-Semitism and violence against Jews surge on college campuses. This, according to a report, a report that by an organization that works to combat discrimination against Jews. Nearly 100 more anti-Semitic incidents were recorded on U.S. college campuses during the first 6 months of 2016 as compared with the same period during last year. Jewish students supportive of Israel being targeted for harm on college campuses, and nowhere is there a better incubator, a more important incubator for the professional agitators that are represented in Philadelphia this weekend, mostly by Bernie supporters, but not limited, than on college campuses. So it's just something to raise again. And I would love to hear from people of the Jewish faith who affiliate with the Democratic Party. And we know just from exit polling that 7 in 10 do. 7 in 10 voted for President Obama twice, 7 in 10 plus the first time. And how they react to what they're seeing and what they're hearing and what the research is indicating is happening in these bastions of liberalism. I just think it's an important note.
Well, I have two Jewish friends they're now Republicans. And they after Obama's first term, they don't feel safe because they're single issue voters. All they care about is the security of Israel, and they don't feel under the Obama administration that they're getting that. So they've become Republicans.
Well, yeah, the Iran deal, I would say,
yeah,
is
the
a
Iran
problem.
deal. Yeah, I think that might be a little sticky wicket for some people, but you think that more Jewish Americans would come over to the Republican side?
Well, I mean, it should just be interested to hear the rationale. I mean, how you can just kind of dismiss this and say, oh, yeah, but. Because that's essentially what you have to do. You have to say, oh, yeah, but. You can't support this. You can't say this is temperate. I mean, Hank Johnson, those are anti-Semitic remarks. Long live the Intifada and burning an Israeli flag. Is this Tehran or Philadelphia?
Have they burned any American flags? I mean, I know they burned one American flag.
You can't find any American flags at the
DNC.
DNC.
I know. I was looking yesterday to see.
They had to ship them in yesterday after it was reported upon that. Where are the American flags?
Well, there was one on stage, but the first day there were none on stage. And then the pictures that they show people, they're not wearing, at the RNC, people were draped in, bedazzled, sparkly American flag tops and hats, and there's not a lot of that there.
Well, I tell you, it's more difficult to find an American flag there than it is to find a reference to ISIS in any of the speeches offered by the speakers at the convention.
Not one mention the first day or the second day of ISIS.
As if it's not even happening. As if they were shutting out the entire rest of the world
while they're having their little convention, while we hear the love story between Hillary and Bill.
Well, and you can say, well, this was, they're focused on women and children. I guess that was the theme, right? Well, is the safety of women and children, is that part of the discussion with respect to women and children, if you want to focus that narrowly? And this against the backdrop of the spate of attacks, terrorist attacks, just over the weekend, including yesterday, the report of a priest in northern France being beheaded.
At the altar.
At the altar. And then the two terrorists essentially take over the altar and pray in Arabic.
Yeah, and while they're killing them, they're saying Arabic, prayers in Arabic. But real quick, in that case, one of the terrorists, 19-year-old kid, his mom had gone to authorities and said, he's been radicalized. I need your help. I need your help. And they turned a blind eye on her. And look at what happened.
Well,
because I'm always after the mom saying, moms, turn in your sons. I know it's so hard. You love your boys. But if you know they're crazy, somebody needs to know about it. And she did do that, and they did nothing.
Well, there were opportunities. You had former Attorney General Eric Holder.
Oh, yeah, I saw him too.
He spoke yesterday. Here's what he had to say, apropos of nothing in particular.
She has the skills to serve as Commander-in-Chief and the strength to lead our already great nation in this hour of challenge and consequence. Now, did you hear what I just said? Already great nation. Donald, did you hear me? Already great nation.
Real powerful.
Did you hear me?
Can you hear me now? No. I can hear you. I'm just not listening.
That's why he got the time slot that he received.
Yeah, what was he, about 1:30 in the afternoon?
Right after the nap.
They opened the convention hall just to allow Eric Holder in, and there was no pan to the audience because there's nobody there.
Oh, you know what, though? I was going to blog some of this audio, but Liam Dunn, that wretched women, that woman.
Lena Dunham.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. She was awful. And they paired her up with some other actress, and they did not do well.
Yeah, the America Ferrara, that Ugly Betty actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was as awkward,
was
especially
bad.
when they try and these Hollywood celebs, it's like watching an award show. These canned, stale jokes that they're painfully reading off a teleprompter. When you watch Sarah Silverman and Al Franken, when you watch Lena Dunham and America Ferrara, even Elizabeth Banks, too.
Elizabeth Banks was funny.
No.
She impersonated Donald Trump's entrance
Yeah, I know
to
what
the
she did.
RNC
Yeah.
and said, I got that fog machine on eBay for $30. I thought it was funny because she did
Yeah.
it perfectly.
I'll tell you what, when
good.
you see these Hollywood celebs address
only one of
the convention,
Uh-huh.
you realize just how talented the writers in Hollywood are. Because
make them.
This is so schlocky and
Well-
painful. But one other note just about the emails, since
Yes.
we raised that with Bernie Sanders and his faith being questioned or being potentially a point, an underbelly the DNC thought they could use to aid Hillary and push Bernie off of her. Julian Assange, that ghoul who runs WikiLeaks, I mean, this is not somebody to celebrate, but I'm just reporting what he said yesterday, that a lot more material, quote, a lot more material relevant to the campaign will be forthcoming from WikiLeaks.
And he also, there's an interview that was dragged up by ITV from a month ago that it's a great soundbite. Julian Assange said, I have information about Hillary Clinton, about the DNC that's going to come out soon.
Right.
So now he's saying that he planned it to come out during the DNC. He's not saying
Well, of course
Russia
he did.
helped with it, but that's,
Of course he did.
He admitted that during the DNC convention that he's going to
Well,
release that information.
Yeah, well, that's what you do. You release information to achieve maximum impact.
Oh, he got maximum impact because Debbie Wasserman Schultz is out of a job. Well, not a job, but she had to step down from her chairmanship. But one thing that happened yesterday that was very emotional. Remember when we were at the RNC, Donald Trump Jr. is the one who, New York passed it first so that they could have the delegates to put their dad over the top to make him the nominee.
Right.
Well, Bernie Sanders of Vermont did that for Hillary. And Bernie's brother, who is from the UK, it's Democrats abroad delegation. He spoke on behalf of that delegation. I didn't know that they had delegates abroad, but they do.
Not surprised to learn that Bernie Sanders' brother has lost his citizenship.
And his name is Larry, and it got emotional.
Larry Sanders.
Larry.
Oh, my ear.
Oh, just
Rest in peace, Gary Shanley.
I want to bring before this convention the names of our parents, Eli Sanders and Dorothy Glassberg Sanders. They did not have easy lives, and they died young. They would be immensely proud of their son and his accomplishments. They loved him.
He's crying, and everybody around him is crying.
Was that Vincent Price?
No, it's
Or was
Larry
that-
Sanders.
Who was,
He's not done yet.
They loved the New Deal.
Because this
for
is
Franklin
Thriller.
Roosevelt, and we'd be especially proud that Bernard is renewing that vision. It is with enormous pride that I cast my vote for Bernie Sanders.
Oh, see, didn't you cry a little? That was Bernie Sanders' little brother, Larry, who lives in the UK.
All right, get Larry back across the pond.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Well, his voice sounded a little off, Dan, because he was so overcome with emotion, and he was crying the whole time.
Yeah, that's why.
Forecast for today. Oh, we're going to have some sun and clouds. It's going to be hot and humid, a high near 90 degrees. And then tonight, a quick passing shower or thunderstorm after the Crosstown Classic at Wrigley Field. And tomorrow, it's going to be partly sunny, not as warm, but still humid. A shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon, a high near 80 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Good morning. Inbound Kennedy, we see delays from Foster to Montrose, and then in the express lane, those delays continue to Addison, and the locals are jamming up too because of a crash at Addison. You've got a right lane blocked in the express lanes, left lane in the locals, with crews helping to deal with that. 30 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 15 from Montrose, and about the same on the express. Outbound 21 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens is still okay, inbound a little heavy approaching the junction. Inbound Eisenhower, heavy Manheim to first. 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound it's clear to Stevenson. 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, it's about a 5-minute delay from 111th to the merge. Jim Talamonte and the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Is overseas uncertainty making a dent in your portfolio? Is your bank telling you that everything's going to be okay? You don't need to feel like your finances are spiraling out of control. It's time to take a different approach with Online Trading Academy. They'll teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times and prepare you for future market fluctuations. Online Trading Academy certified instructors teach you a rules-based strategy where you'll trade on knowledge, not speculation, so you'll be able to identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call now, 877-682-2442. Mention AM560 and you'll receive a home video study course valued at $247. Call now, 877-682-2442.
Mike Rowe here with a quick IAQ test for my buddy Bill.
Wait, I didn't study.
IAQ stands for Indoor Air Quality, something 1 hour excels at.
Well, I aced my SATs, so...
Yes or no? Do you breathe inside your home?
Yeah.
And what do you breathe?
Air.
And what's in that air?
Air?
Sorry, we were looking for dust mites, household pollutants, even formaldehyde.
Wait, I need to move.
Or you could call 1 hour and improve your IAQ.
That sounds smarter.
Let's see how you do with the disclaimer.
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Not bad.
The U.S. Senior and Women's Open, the BMW Championship, the Chicago Half Marathon, NASCAR racing, the Blackhawks Parade. So many festivals and special events. And they all have one thing in common. Master Fence Rental. Master Fence Rental provides professional fence rental services throughout all phases of your construction project, special event, or emergency situation, along with prompt delivery and expert installation. These are the guys to call when you need to maintain temporary safety and security at your site. Master Fence Rental is ready right now for your next big event or building project with chain link fences, fence panels, and pedestrian barricades that are uniquely designed and built to be sturdy, safe, and attractive with easy installation and takedown. Event planners, show producers, contractors, request a free quote today and get ready to work with the temporary fence pros. Master Fence. Call 866-622-0822. 866-622-0822 or online masterfencerental.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Darkness falls across the land.
I want to bring before this convention
Creatures crawl in search of blood.
Yes, it's close. Not quite on.
They did not have easy lives.
Maybe it's more of a Lon Chaney that Larry Sanders sounds like. I'm trying to place it, but it's, yeah.
It was sweet.
Another quick update, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Our friend David Daleiden and the Center for Medical Progress. This is the organization that did the undercover Planned Parenthood videos, documenting how Planned Parenthood illegally traffics in baby body parts. Something Cecile Richards, the president of Planned Parenthood, didn't mention in her remarks.
No, she didn't. And you know what? Every time
yesterday.
she gets up, I see her because I saw her Monday night. She was sitting next to Bill Clinton. And then last night when she got up and spoke, I don't even know how they could let her be at the DNC.
It tells you everything you need to know.
All I see is baby parts when I look at her, and I think, oh my God, she sells baby parts.
It tells you where the modern Democrat Party is. Well, charges that were brought against him by a politically compromised district attorney down in Texas were dropped yesterday.
Yes, thank God.
Preposterous charges were dismissed by the Harris County District Attorney's Office in Texas. So that's
well,
I guess one strike for liberty in this country.
Yeah, but that barely made the news. I mean, barely. It was like a little footnote at the end. It just got in, but he could have spent 20 years in prison. 20 years, that's what they were facing for that. So I'm glad that the judge dropped all charges.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
TriStar Estates is thrilled to call the Kankakee County Fair home this year. Literally speaking, TriStar Estates will have one of their brand new champion model homes at this year's fair, and you can experience their exciting walkthrough exhibit. The Kankakee County Fair takes place August 3rd through 7th at the Kankakee County Fairgrounds. TriStar Estates is raffling prizes at the fair and offering special promotions during August. For details about the TriStar Estates community in advance of the Kankakee County Fair, check out TriStarEstates.com or call TriStar Estates at 815-932-0200. Visit the TriStar Estates Champion Model Home at the Kankakee County Fair for a great time and learn all about the changing trend of the manufactured home living environment. You'll see how wonderful these beautiful and affordable homes really are. Call 815-932-0200 for more info or visit TriStarEstates.com. That's TriStarEstates.com.
As a business owner or HR director, you've seen medical plans disappear. You've seen deductible and co-payment and total out-of-pocket expenses skyrocket, and the new prescription plans are a joke. You've been forced to accept the Obamacare compliant plans, while at the same time, labor organizations and other friends of the establishment have been given special exemptions. Thankfully, the market for group health insurance has caught up, and some companies we work with can now offer these same ACA exempt policies for your employees. My name is Greg Eck, president of Beneficial Solutions. Our team has been reacting to ever-changing insurance markets for the past 25 years. Beneficial Solutions will arm your company with the latest tools to protect your business from potential ACA penalties and make the most of your employee benefit dollars. Call us now so we can game plan before open enrollment season arrives at 630-717-8282. That's 630-717-8282. Or find us online at beneficialsolutions.com.
We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Hi, Tom Sadeka, CEO of Precision Payroll of America. If you are like me and are listening to this station, chances are we hold some common values and truths we hold self-evident. That's the main reason Precision Payroll attracts great clients and great employees. Precision Payroll of America operates at the core with fundamental principles that drive our attitude and delivery of service. We work hard to provide the best in pricing and value. In addition, with our great team that has been with us a long time, you are ensured a lasting relationship with people who understand your needs and always stand ready to serve. What sets us apart is that we view what we do as a great opportunity to serve others in a professional and technical capacity while building long-lasting relationships. That's what we treasure. If this message hits home, please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer. AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Will Bill's speech give Hillary the bump she needs at 6:06?
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, one teen killed, 2 others hurt in a Chicago shooting. New cases of Legionnaire's disease found at an Illinois veterans home. And Amazon has plans for another warehouse in Romeoville. White Sox shut out the Cubs. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Democrats try to come together.
Senator Sanders has moved in the spirit of unity to suspend the rules.
And that meant on night 2 of their convention, they did
nominate Hillary Clinton by acclamation as the presidential candidate of the Democratic Party.
But not everyone felt so united.
Show me what democracy looks like.
Some Bernie Sanders supporters walked out of the arena, and later Bill Clinton took the stage.
I married my best friend.
And the former president says the real Hillary is not the cartoon character Republicans created.
The real one calls you when you're sick, when your kid's in trouble, or when there's a death in the family.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers live in Philadelphia.
Well, Hillary Clinton made an appearance by video that energized the crowd that stuck around to the end of the night. Maryland Senator Barbara Mikulski nominated Clinton, and the nominee had a message for the next generation.
If there are any little girls out there who stayed up late to watch, let me just say, I may become the first woman president, but one of you is next.
Tonight's speakers include Clinton's running mate, Senator Tim Kaine, as well as President Obama and Vice President Biden. Dave.
And Tanya, Donald Trump tweeted this morning that the Democratic convention has paid zero respect to law enforcement, calling it sad. The Republican nominee will hold a town hall today in Scranton, Pennsylvania. There's a report out that finds shooting deaths of law enforcement officers up 78% in the first half of this year compared to 2015. More and more Russians are banned from the Olympics, caught up in a doping scandal.
At least 105 Russian athletes have now been barred from competing in next month's games in Rio. They include 22 of the 28 rowers scheduled to take part, at least one sailor, and 7 from canoeing and the modern pentathlon.
Fox's Chris Honig, Russia's entire track and field team is already banned. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
72 degrees in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. An investigation is underway following a deadly shooting involving 3 teens on Chicago's west side. 18-year-old Kenyon Boyd was pronounced dead at a hospital after being shot near LaPorte and West End Avenues. Federal authorities are trying to make an effort to crack down on crime committed by a well-known Chicagoland gang. U.S. Attorney Zach Varden revealed indictments yesterday against 36 suspected members of the Latin Kings. The Chicago Police Union asking officers to refuse to work overtime during Labor Day weekend. The FOP says it wants members to turn down the extra hours as a way to protest the disrespect of city police and police across the country. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson.
If we want to show support for our officers, then our responsibility and our oath is to be out there to support each other and to back each other up whenever we're out there on the streets. Because
if you love this country,
we do. We're here to serve and protect, and we do that day in and day out.
Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson. Midwest retailer Meijer says salads and sandwiches that it sells are being recalled this morning due to a potential risk of salmonella contamination. Company says the markets of Meijer products were sold at Meijer stores from July 20 through Monday. It says right now there's been no known illnesses reported to the company. The salads and sandwiches contain cooked egg from supplier Prime Foods, which notified Meijer of a positive test for salmonella. Meijer operates 228 grocery centers in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Wisconsin, and Illinois.
We've done it in good times
Sox
and bad.
over the Cubs, 3-0. James Shields was nearly unhittable. 4 singles over 7 2/3 innings of strong work. The 4-game home series now shifts to Wrigley Field later tonight. The news is a service of 7-Eleven. Chill out this summer at 7-Eleven, where you get an ice-cold Big Gulp and you get a free one-day Redbox movie rental. It's a refreshing deal that won't last long. It's only at 7-Eleven while supplies last, subject to additional terms. Charges apply for additional nights. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Lumber Liquidators is clearing out top-quality floors to make room for the newest styles during their hardwood and bamboo closeout sale. Get $1 off per square foot on select pre-finished hardwood. 20 to 25% off all in-stock Morningstar bamboo. It's one of the best deals ever. Get complete laminate flooring packages from just 39 cents per square foot and new stack-out deals from 29 cents at your local store. Plus special financing. Get to the hardwood and bamboo closeout sale today. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to
after the class, I followed her out,
LegalZoom makes it easy.
Intending to introduce myself.
So there's no office visits or
I got close enough to touch her back,
Instead, you could save
but
over
I couldn't do it.
$100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan
Somehow I
bundles.
knew this
And if
would
you don't
not
know
be
whether
just
the will or
another
trust is
tap
right
on
for
the
you,
shoulder.
Don't worry. You'll work with an independent
That I might
attorney
be
in
starting
48
something
states
I couldn't
to get
stop.
advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom.com.
Thousands of people are choosing the flexibility of working when they want, driving with Uber. You'll control your day, plus be able to start earning right away just by driving your own car.
I've got 2 kids. They're both in summer camp, and I'll drop them off. Then I turn on the Uber app, the ride requests come in, and I'm earning extra money. Working when I want, being my own boss. Driving with Uber is definitely the best option for me.
Earn the extra money you need on your schedule. Get started today. Sign up right now. Go to uber.com/drive now. UBER.com/drive now.
6:05 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic is stop and go from Harlem to Addison, where an earlier crash has cleared. It's 33 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 15 from Montrose, 14 in the Express. Outbound 22 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's inbound a little heavy approaching the junction. Outbound it's wide open. Inbound Eisenhower, slow Wolf to First Avenue. 39 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 31. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5 to 34. Line is 23 minutes, 90 to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 422. Traffic service of CC's Pizza. Can you believe it? CC's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuff. Try them all and your other CC's favorites for just $5 and change. The CC's buffet just got better. Believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, hot and humid with clouds and sun, high 90. Partly cloudy and warm tonight with a late-night shower or thunderstorm around.
You don't
a low
stop
of 68.
being a
shower or thunderstorm
Here's
tomorrow,
what you don't
high
know
79.
about my son.
I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560.
When Jordan was little,
The Answer.
Aircomfort.com provides the right climate for business since 1935. The temperature's
He
outside 71.
Hillary
And
Clinton
next
has
news
the compassion
at
and
6:30. Chicago's
understanding.
Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Feldco's biggest sale of the year. Get $1 installation on all windows, siding, and doors.
Call 866 for Feldco.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Your reactions to Bill Clinton's speech last night, persuasive? Did it do the job for you? Or just take a disinterested third-party position of whether you think it will be impactful to benefit Hillary and she needs the benefit? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. We mentioned yesterday, 68% of likely voters find Hillary Clinton isn't honest or trustworthy coming into the convention. Just 31%, according to CBS survey, 31% have favorable views of Hillary Clinton. That is her lowest favorability rating of the campaign. She's got a net negative 25 favorable rating. A CNN poll finds her favorability rating the lowest at any point since 1992.
Now, who is a lower favorable rating? Is it Hillary or is it Donald Trump?
They run neck and neck.
Yeah.
Just 38% of likely voters would be proud to have Hillary Clinton as president. That's down from 55% about 16 months ago. And nearly half of Democrat primary voters still want Bernie Sanders. And we saw that a little bit yesterday in Philadelphia with the Bernie walkout of sorts.
But yesterday's speech by Bill Clinton was it was personal. It was uncommonly personal. Some a little uncomfortable for some, but it was a love story that began in the spring of 1971.
In the spring of 1971, I met a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And who was that girl?
I don't. There's so many I don't know.
They met at the law library. She had big glasses and blonde hair, and she caught Bill Clinton's eye.
After the class, I followed her out, intending to introduce myself. I got close enough to touch her back, but I couldn't do it. Somehow I knew this would not be just another tap on the shoulder. That I might be starting something I couldn't stop.
Starting something you couldn't stop. Is he talking about courting Hillary or taking Cialis? Here's the other thing. Not just another tap on the shoulder.
Oh.
How many taps on the shoulder have there been, President Clinton?
Tap, knock, knock. But, you know, they started walking together on a journey, Dan.
I just went ahead and asked her to take a walk down to the art museum. Yeah. We've been walking and talking and laughing together ever since. And
It's emotional. He starts to tear up.
we've done it in good times and bad, through joy and heartbreak.
Heartbreak that you caused.
We cried together this morning on the news that our good friend and a lot of your good friend, Mark Weiner, passed away early this morning. We built up a lifetime of memories.
Yeah, it's the same old story. Boy finds girl, boy loses girl, boy forgets girl, boy remembers girl. Girl dies in tragic blimp accident over the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day. So, question, did Bill Clinton plagiarize Leslie Nielsen's Lieutenant Frank Drebin in Naked Gun? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Let's get the Zucker brothers on the blower, see if they want to lodge a formal complaint against Bill Clinton for plagiarizing Naked Gun. Don't you think? Clinton, Bill.
Yes.
Also,
President.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bubba. Yeah, we're all friends here. It's informal. Bubba also said, just the best little change maker.
Well, she's insatiably curious. She's a natural leader. She's a good organizer. And she's the best darn change maker I ever met in my entire life.
And then he brought her out and slapped her on the behind.
Come on, my little change maker. No, he said that she's never satisfied, that she's always striving to become a better person than she is. Always trying to help the little guy. And that's what the theme was last night, about helping people and how she has helped so many. And that they tried to humanize her.
And Bill Clinton, put her to the test. She's ready.
You could drop her into any trouble spot. Pick one. Come back in a month, and somehow, some way, she will have made it better. That is just who she is.
Drop her any trouble spot. Come back in a month, she'll make it better. Drop her any. How about Libya?
Yeah, I was going to say, ask Patty Smith about that.
How about Syria? How about the State Department in general? How about the closet where that private server was kept?
Has she made situations better? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Text us at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
More to the reality is she turns brush fires into conflagrations. That's what Hillary Clinton actually has done. That's what the record will reflect. But it was a very stylized version of history, or herstory.
Herstory, you're right.
That Bill Clinton offered yesterday. But to no surprise, I mean, this is somebody who was not exactly known to be a paragon of truthfulness.
No, but he tried to, humanize her even more, but, blue collar roots. She's from Park Ridge. Bill Clinton drove her home once.
After the first month and that first walk, I actually drove her home to Park Ridge, Illinois, to meet her family and see the town where she grew up. A perfect example of post-World War II middle-class America. Street after street of nice houses, great schools, good parks, a big public swimming pool, and almost all white.
Like, white is so bad. Like, this just in. Park Ridge is white.
It was almost all white.
Almost. Like, that is bad. Like, how could white people live in Park Ridge? I mean, that was one part I went, what, are you kidding? Why are you bashing whites?
No, I'm with him. I hate white people.
Dan, stop hating yourself.
He's right.
Does this hurt?
He's right. Well, here's the thing that I kind of lost the thread of the yarn that he was spitting, though, because then at one point he said he married his best friend. And so my question is, when did he drop Hillary and marry Vernon Jordan? Because I didn't. That's where I kind of.
Well, did that offend you at all when he said it's white, and then he looked down like, like she should feel guilty because she grew up in a white neighborhood?
Offend? I mean, how these people are beyond shame. You can't be offended by them because they're pathetic. It's what Peggy Noonan said about them a year ago. Bill and Hillary, that's Bonnie and Clyde. So you know what you're getting. Here's what they do. Bonnie and Clyde rob banks. So you see them rob a bank, they get prosecuted or they get off. They go rob another bank. That's just what they do. Bill and Hillary, they, pursue power without shame. the ambition is naked, and Bill is often also naked. And that's just
Only at work with
That's just what they
interns.
do. That's just what they do. By the way, were there any mentions of untoward sexual advances in that courtship that Bill?
And boundaries and controlling your urges? No, there weren't.
There's a bit
but the only time that he got sentimental or that he was, we've had heartbreak together. And that's when I thought, oh, heartbreak that you caused.
You like when Chelsea married the guy whose father-in-law is a criminal?
No,
when
when he
Chelsea's
had an
husband lost
extramarital
all his money in that hedge fund?
No, when he had, when he was with Monica Lewinsky.
What are you
and other
talking about?
ladies.
Monica Lewinsky, if I recall correctly from Hillary, was loony, and the accusations about any extramarital affairs was just all a bunch of fodder from the vast right-wing conspiracy. Isn't that the case? So, I mean, I guess, but after he resisted tapping her on the back, he certainly has her back. She scratched his back politically over the last 2 decades, and he did her a similar turn yesterday.
But one thing I learned yesterday is that she was involved in political movements and she got him into politics. Because I always thought that he persuaded her into the political life.
He's the original feminist.
Do it really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, Bill. Oh, sure. Of course he is. I think the record reflects. Joe in Villa Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan, Amy.
Morning.
Yeah, I was after hearing that on this love story deal on how Bill met his wife and whatnot.
To touch your
I couldn't
heart?
help but think that no wonder he chose Al Gore and his wife as the vice president. With that, didn't Al Gore claim to be his relationship was
The inspiration for Love Story, the movie.
reason for the love story?
Yeah, they're divorced now.
Thanks for the call, Joe.
You know that? I interviewed her, Tipper Gore, lovely lady, but yeah, they're divorced.
Well, that's Al.
Workouts.
Al was not. He was not chastened at all about tapping masseuses on the back.
Yeah.
Much
Oh, yeah.
Remember that was his little problem. And Tipper didn't like those explicit lyrics.
Yeah.
And Al likes his gangster rap.
Yeah.
So that was something that also drove a wedge in.
Well, that'll ruin
between
any
them.
marriage, really, Dan.
The disagreement over gangster lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Gangster rap lyrics. Yeah. There's
I
no
listen to
question.
Eazy-E, and my family, they take issue with that.
Really?
They're like, Eazy-E's rolling over in his grave right now that you know all the words to Boys in the Hood. But I do.
Yeah. You're an OG.
Driving around
The
the
OG in
minivan
Lakeview.
with the cane. Watch out, Johnny.
You just need
Because the Boys in the Hood.
You just need a grill and a chalice in your Little John over there. Mike on the north side.
Hi, good morning. Sorry to interrupt your reminiscing about the mean streets of Mount Prospect
Yeah,
where Amy grew up.
That's right. That's exactly
But
right.
I just wanted
Straight
to ask,
out of Mount Prospect.
I don't have the schedule for the Democratic convention, but since they highlighted the criminals' mothers up there, are they going to do anything for the slain police officers?
No.
Or
No.
they just cast aside?
Well, I do
I
have
think
to tell
you know the answer. That's a rhetorical question Mike's asking us.
At
Thanks, Mike.
4:38 our time, they had the police chief of Pittsburgh speak for a few moments. White guy, just I'm just
Forget
saying,
it then.
I know that's why they.
You
gave him
lost me with white guy.
I know that's why they gave him the slot that they gave him.
Now, one thing.
And he didn't speak much about, he did mention the Dallas police officers and the Baton Rouge police officers.
Well, now, one thing that was actually disconcerting about that whole mothers movement where you had those ladies on stage who had lost a child.
Yes, it was called Mothers of the Movement, and there were 9 women on stage.
Right. And so here's the thing that I find really ignorant about what the Democrat Party did with respect to those women. There are mothers up there who lost a child to violence.
Street violence, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't violence at the hands of a police officer, and to the extent that it was, there's
Well, it was a mix. It was a mix of, they've all lost their children. That's why they were all up there. But some lost their children at the hands of overzealous police officers, they claim. And others were in street, like Blair Holt's mother was up there. And Blair died. He was on a bus, and he protected a classmate, a female classmate, took the bullet for her, and he died.
Right.
Anita Holt, and she should have spoken last night because she's wonderful. I love her.
Or Jordan Davis, the young man who died at a wedding, but he was killed by another civilian, a guy who like a rage incident, right?
Right.
They
a
got
white guy
like an
that-
argument over music or something, but that wasn't police involved. So to put them on the same stage with Michael Brown's mother, doesn't that confuses the issue? I would say that's a big problem. So there is because the conversation is not about, for example, black on black crime. That's not part of the conversation because that's verboten. The conversation is not about evil. It's about the instrumentality of evil. There was a reference to gun control. And then to confuse the issue while people, the delegates, are chanting Black Lives Matter in response to those women on the stage, well, that is an assault on police officers. And many of those mothers that were represented, there's nothing to do with police. Nothing to do with it. And it confuses it when you have Michael Brown's mom there, even to some extent Trayvon Martin's mom there, because the president decided to politicize that case so much.
Well, Trayvon Martin's mother spoke, but Sandra Bland's mom spoke about the unlawful arrest. But her daughter ended up hanging herself in a jail cell.
Right.
Sandra Bland was lowered into the ground in a coffin. She was my fourth of 5 daughters, and she was gone. No. Not on administrative leave, but on permanent leave from this earth. Found hanging in a jail cell after an unlawful traffic stop and an unlawful arrest.
Yeah, well,
Sandra Bland.
Well, that's. I don't want to go after grieving mothers. I mean,
it was just a hodgepodge. The thing was, it was gun violence victims and victims of police brutality. That's what they put them together.
They're
on stage.
purposely confusing the issue.
Oh, yeah.
And it's disingenuous, and frankly, it's reprehensible. Kurt in Brookfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, being in law enforcement watching last night, I don't know how anyone in law enforcement could want to vote Democratic after that show. Basically, Democrats have put out, we don't care what the storyline is, as long as we can blame cops and get votes from certain communities. Our lives mean nothing. After 30 years of law enforcement, I don't know if I can continue this if Hillary gets elected, because I know my life doesn't mean anything to her. It's just a political hack vote.
Thanks, Kurt.
I mean, it was a slap in the face to all police officers and law enforcement officials. It was weird. It was that was more uncomfortable to watch than the Clinton love story.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Rich in Freeport.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Listen to the bill is better than listening to Larry the Cable Guy. I wish he would have finished the story after he touched her on the back. They drove back to the double wide and couldn't get his pants out of his case. But I do have one question.
Can he get her done? Yeah.
Do you know what David Cameron and Bill Clinton have in common? They both left their pussycats behind.
Hello.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Cat, he said.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, let's see. There's sunshine. The sun's coming up, and we're going to have a few high clouds around here. No big deal. It's going to be warm, a high near 90 degrees. Typical for summertime. And tonight for the Cubs-Sox game at Wrigley Field, it's going to be perfect when our general manager sits in row 12 with his family. We have a chance of a shower or thunderstorm long after the game. And tomorrow, partly sunny, not as warm, but still humid with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, a high of 79. Let's get those travel times. Any traffic around Wrigley, Jim Telemonte?
All right, now it's fairly quiet, Amy, but of course it'll be heavy tonight. You also have a lot of stuff going on downtown. You've got a concert at the United Center. You've got Soldier Field with international soccer and street closures already in place for Lollapalooza, which starts tomorrow. So you'll have some traffic messes. Right now in Zion, there's a closure of 27th between Lewis Avenue and Galilee. That is due to a crash in the area. The Kennedy's very heavy after an earlier crash at Addison. It's 35 minutes, so here to downtown. 17 from Montrose, 9 in the Express. Outbound 22 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eden's heavy on the spur eastbound past Waukegan Road. The Eisenhower getting heavy now. It's delayed starting at Wolf, 49 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 38. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, there's a great reason why nearly every AM 560 host endorses this product, MyPillow, because it's the best. Even the National Sleep Foundation agrees that Made in America MyPillow is in a class by itself because they made it their official pillow. Now, if you still haven't bought one, you should. Excuse me. You'll sleep better, and it's good for your health. It's washable, which means it can remove that dead skin, dirt, skin oils, and dust mites that accumulate in your pillow. And that stuff can cause allergies, acne, and asthma. So you really deserve a washable MyPillow. It comes with a 10-year warranty, 60-day full money-back guarantee, and it's an excellent health investment. So visit MyPillow.com. Type Amy, A-M-Y, in the promo code, so I can get some credit. And you'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of one. Give one as a gift, keep the other for yourself, or just use both, but do it now. 800-489-0201, 800-489-0201, or online at MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Donald Jr., he's taken to Twitter, and Weiner goes down.
Well, Anthony Weiner is at the DNC convention, obviously, because of his wife, Uma. And he got a little testy yesterday. I mean, first, before we go to that soundbite, he got a little testy. Kelly O'Donnell was asking him about, is your wife's security clearance going to be yanked?
Do you have any worry that there will be a challenge put to Huma Abedin, your wife's security clearance or her access to classified information after everything that has happened with the private server in the Clinton home?
I want to say that I'm puzzled by this. The FBI, the same people that Donald Trump goes around and saying did this investigation that found these things about the private server. The same people do the security clearances. You can't be the law and order candidate and then on the FBI, say the military is horrible, say that all of us have never been worse off, say that the police are doing a terrible job while crime is up.
Some spicy mustard coming out of that Weiner.
And I did not know this, but Donald Trump gave money to Weiner's campaign.
In this very New York-centric world, Donald Trump donated to you.
Totally.
As a New Yorker.
Even a broken clock is right once a day or twice a day, whatever the expression is.
Yeah. Wieners in a bun. So Weiner also was asked about Donald Trump Jr., the kind of rumors going around that Donald Trump Jr. may be interested in running for public office, perhaps mayor of New York. And Weiner said that he would come out of forced retirement to beat Donald Trump Jr. like a rented mule if that happened, then turn the keys back over to Sandinista de Blasio.
Yeah, and what was Donald Trump Jr.'s tweet?
He knows how to tweet,
classic.
too. It runs in the family. Too soon, Anthony. You probably shouldn't be talking about beating anything ever again. Go back to your cave. I like Junior.
You had your hot dog plumped?
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I am so glad I did it. I'm just mad at myself for waiting so long. Hi, Amy Jacobson here for CertaPro Painters. Our front porch had chipping and peeling. It looked old and run down, but thanks to CertaPro Painters, it looks brand new again. And trust me, my neighbors are happy I did it. And it's not too late to book that painting project. But don't wait. Be sure to get on CertaPro Painters' summer painting schedule today. Call 800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters will work around your busy schedule to get your home looking picture perfect for all your summer entertaining. That's why CertaPro Painters says we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, It's not too late to get that painting project off your to-do list. Call now, 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CERTAPro.com today.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool?
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Citadel LLC has an opening for the position of quantitative analyst located in Chicago, Illinois. Job duties for the position include conducting empirical research and statistical analyses of equity and related securities within the long-term quantitative strategies group. This is a full-time position. To apply, send resumes by mail to Employee Relations/LW, attention R0260. Citadel LLC, 131 South Dearborn Street, 32nd floor, Chicago, Illinois 60603.
What's your caliber? Black Rhino Concealment knows many AM560 listeners carry or plan to and want the best holsters. For concealed carry, range practice, or competitive shooting, Black Rhinos are comfortable and safe. Every holster is handcrafted by veterans of 100% virgin Kydex with American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and quick draw, a Black Rhino is the finest holster at a modest price. Backed by a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carrier and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You and your firearm deserve a Black Rhino. The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Black Rhino Concealment, we hold your caliber against you. Visit blackrhinoconcealment.com or call 847-783-6499 for showroom info. Use the promo code AM560 for a 10% discount on your first order. That number again, 847-783-6499.
AM560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Did the Russians do it? We'll talk to cybersecurity expert Fred Kate at 6:36.
And then later, sewer to brewer. Oh, yeah. Something's coming your way. Something that you can drink. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine 72. The president heads to the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, one day after Hillary Clinton was nominated to succeed him. Former President Bill Clinton says his wife Hillary has spent a lifetime working to make other people's lives better from the bottom up.
I married my best friend. I was still in awe after more than 4 years of being around her at how smart and strong and loving and caring she was.
Former Vermont Governor Howard Dean praising Clinton's fight to give Americans affordable health care.
Hillary has a plan to stand up to the drug companies and lower prescription drug prices. And Hillary has a plan to take us the last mile and finally achieve health care for all Americans.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump will be on Reddit tonight during the Democratic National Convention, participating in an Ask Me Anything forum beginning at 7 Eastern. Syria's state-run news agency reports 44 dead from a twin bombing that struck a predominantly Kurdish town in the country's north. A report finds that shooting deaths of law enforcement officers spiked last year 78%. Washington, D.C. area restaurant forced to apologize after an employee refused to serve or cook for a police officer. It's from Noodles & Company, a statement issued late yesterday after a Virginia officer reported the incident in Alexandria. The officer waiting to place an order, her order, when a cook went to the cashier and said, "I'm not cooking for that one." An investigation is underway following a deadly shooting involving 3 teens on Chicago's west side. Police say the 18-year-old Kenyon Boyd was shot yesterday near LaPorte and West End Avenues. A 20-year-old Wisconsin man accused of killing his neighbor and later a suburban Buffalo Grove woman in a random drive-by shooting has been found competent to stand trial. Zachary Hayes is charged with first-degree reckless homicide in the death of his neighbor and 44-year-old Tracy Chakowski of Buffalo Grove. And remember that ice bucket challenge of 2014 we all dumped all over each other? It's led to an important discovery in the research into ALS, known as Lou Gehrig's disease. The ALS Association saying the social media campaign of people pouring the buckets on themselves raised $115 million. That funded a half dozen research projects. One has led to the discovery of a gene that takes scientists one step closer to developing a treatment for the neurological disorder. White Sox over the Cubs, 3-0. The news, a service of 7-Eleven. Chill out this summer at 7-Eleven. When you get an ice-cold Big Gulp, you'll get a free one-day Redbox movie rental. This refreshing deal won't last long. It's only at 7-Eleven while supplies last, subject to additional terms. Charges apply for additional nights. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Rick Williams of Pump Supply agree.
Hi, my name is Rick Williams, owner of Pump Supply Incorporated. As a business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that understands my business and is able to respond quickly and creatively to the needs of my company. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my company and seize opportunities as I come across them. Whether it's providing a line of credit or financing the acquisition of equipment or real estate, Cornerstone has been there for me every step of the way.
Thanks, Rick. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
6:37 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, it's pretty heavy this morning thanks to an earlier crash at Addison. We're looking at 40 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. It is quicker in the express lanes. Outbound, 25 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's inbound, heavy approaching the junction. 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, 19. Inbound Eisenhower, 53 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 40 from Manheim. Outbound, 39 to Thorndale. Stevenson is rough. An hour and 5 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 45 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop, I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 421. Northbound Tri-States, though Southwest Highway to Archer, from Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Traffic service of 7-Eleven. Chill out this summer at 7-Eleven. You get an ice-cold Big Gulp. You'll get a free one-day Redbox movie rental. This refreshing deal won't last long, and it's only at 7-Eleven. While supplies last, subject to additional terms, charges apply for additional nights. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds and sun today, hot and humid, high near 90. 72 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Julian Assange, the ghoulish head of WikiLeaks, said more emails from the DNC hack will be forthcoming.
Wait, aren't you glad that he hacked the DNC?
Well, he didn't necessarily hack. He received the proceeds of the hack. And there's mounting evidence, according to one report in The Hill, that the Russians are the responsible party. There's evidence that the hacker used Russian language anonymity software, a language that he has claimed he could not read or even recognize. The news comes amid mounting reports linking Guccifer 2.0's hack of the DNC emails to Russian intelligence. Everything I know about cybersecurity, I learned from season 1 of Mr. Robot. So I don't think that's going to be enough.
No, I don't think so.
And that's why we've got...
I appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, well, I'm
You're
trying,
really trying
to learn.
Yeah.
But that's why we've got Fred Kate from the Indiana University School of Law.
Is that where the Indianans live?
Yeah, as you would say. Other people use the term Hoosiers, but Indianans is apparently acceptable to you. Fred Kate joins us now. Fred, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So give us your sense, because this hack is so politicized now because, of course, it's the Democrat National Committee that was hacked and the contents of the emails, and there's competing political interests. But in terms of the cybersecurity piece of this and how you trace back to the responsible party. What is your assessment based on what we know at this point?
Yeah, I think the evidence is pretty clear, and it continues to mount that these certainly are Russian hackers. That doesn't tell us whether they're related to Putin, that they work for the government, they work for themselves. But, the Russians are very sophisticated in cyber attacks. They've successfully attacked most U.S. government agencies, including the White House and the State Department last year. And, they leave trails behind. You look at the type of attack, you look at the software, the language it was used in, you look at the coding. All of this right now seems to be pointing to two separate Russian attacks on the DNC website.
Now, ABC News was saying that Putin himself, because he's a former KGB agent, that he was responsible for the hacking. Is there any possibility of that?
Well, frankly, I don't know how we would ever know that unless Putin just comes forward and admits it. I think what's more likely, at least what we've seen in the past with the Russian hacks, is that you have, we sometimes refer to them as the Russian business mafia. You've got Russian organized crime, and then you've got, frankly, these very smart young hackers. And they all kind of work in a kind of a loose confederation. The hackers break in trying to find something that will either earn them money or earn them credit with somebody higher up the food chain. Whether they were thinking Putin, I have no idea.
So Guccifer 2.0 is the handle, right? Guccifer is the Romanian hacker who's in custody. And Guccifer 2.0, do we know anything about them in the world of hacking in terms of, is there really a relationship, or are they just using that handle as part of their cover, or do we even know?
We really just, we don't know. I mean, there's, as you know, lots of speculation out there. But, and this is one of the real challenges of cyberspace, is attribution. Who is responsible for the attack is one of the hardest things. We're really good at detecting attacks. We're not so good at preventing them. And we're really terrible at figuring out who actually launched them.
And what about with respect to Hillary's private server? There's some speculation, this was part of actually that debate. Were you hacked? You don't know if you were hacked. You can't say that you were. You can't say that you weren't. Is there any way that hackers get into her private server and that's how somehow connected to this hack?
I suspect that the answer to that is yes, there is a way they could get in, and no, it's not necessarily connected to this attack. I mean, we know what the director of the FBI said after the FBI's lengthy inquiry into the whole server situation, which was that they found no evidence of an attack, but that such an attack was possible. And given the fact that, then Secretary Clinton traveled the globe with her BlackBerry, which connected to her server, and therefore it was located in countries that could make an attack, that might have an interest in an attack, and the physical location of the device in the country might make it possible for them to access it. So I think it would be a likely thing that it may have been attacked.
Well, do you ever see a time when emails and servers won't be hacked, or is this just our new reality? You should always watch what you email.
I don't see that time, and not any time in the foreseeable future, and I hate to say that, but and it's not just emails and websites. It's also, all of those critical systems that we use to, control banking, control nuclear power plants, control airplanes. They're all digital now. I mean, the driverless car is all digital. And unfortunately, as we've gone for convenience by linking these all to the internet, we've also gone for a great deal of insecurity.
And the other issue, too, is the theft of intellectual property.
Yeah, and this is, in fact, what's motivated a great amount of the state-supported attacks, particularly from China, but also from these Russian groups, is, looking to see what's out there. What's out there is usually not embarrassing information. It's very hard to monetize that, but it's secrets. It's intellectual property. It's business plans. It's competitive information, even diplomatic information about, U.S. negotiations that can be used to the advantage of these foreign countries.
What about the kind of the terrorist threat as it pertains to cybersecurity? I mean, I mentioned Mr. Robot, this kind of popular show now, and I don't want, but I guess it's a fair question. The idea of life imitating art and the idea that you could have a terrorist attack that would shut down financial institutions like you saw in Mr. Robot, is that just kind of Hollywood sensationalism, or is some threat like that real?
Oh, the threat is very real. Right now, terrorists still seem, for whatever reason, and I mean, there's a lot of debate about this, to be more fascinated by physical attacks, whether it's a building or a plane or a market full of people, and less interested in what you might think of as more subtle, but particularly more damaging attacks, like going after a banking system. But the vulnerability is there, and certainly most of the attack devices, most of the software that's used for these attacks, you can buy them on the internet. So you don't have to be a skilled attacker. You just have to go online, pay some money, and you buy a skilled attack. So there's no reason a terrorist group couldn't do that.
All right. He is Fred Cate, professor at Indiana University Law School, the director of the Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research at Indiana University, or IU, as we call it in the Big Ten.
Yes.
Fred Cate, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Good luck.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, is it really happening? Bears training camp opens? Wow. Things to do in Kankakee and Bourbonus. Kidding, Bourbonnais. Today it's going to be mostly sunny skies, a few high clouds, hot and humid, a high near 90 degrees. And then tonight, it'll be partly cloudy, warm, a shower or thunderstorm after the Cubs-Sox game. And then tomorrow, partly sunny, not as warm, but still humid with a shower or thunderstorm likely, a high in the upper 70s. Let's get the travel times. Any drama on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
There's some crash-related closures and a stalled truck-related closure now. On the southwest side, southbound California Avenue is blocked at the Stevenson. Traffic sharing the northbound lanes. You've got congestion. Zion 27th remains blocked. Galilee and Lewis Avenue with a crash. Kennedy inbound recovering after an earlier crash near Addison. Looking at 39 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. Edens is 26 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 22. The Ike now an hour and 3 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour and 5 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 51 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 45 minutes to 355. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown, northbound Tri-State, so Southwest Highway to Archer, in pockets from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue, Reagan Tollway slow 22nd to the Eisenhower. I'm Jim Talamonte of the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. A new report is forecasting solid sales growth, especially online. Verizon's strike this year hit hard last quarter. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually see them. Free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993 or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
Even as it was making headlines with a deal to buy Yahoo's internet business, Verizon Tuesday announced its revenue fell 5% last quarter, primarily due to business losses during an extended strike by 40,000 Verizon workers. On tap today, among midweek economic reports, investors will be watching updates on mortgage applications, durable goods orders, and pending home sales. Join us for updates on our midday report today. The National Retail Federation has raised its retail sales forecast for 2016. The group predicts overall growth of 3.4%. That's up from 3.1% previously, but adds that online sales will increase by 10%. Please join us for Lou Dobbs Tonight, live from the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, well, now that the White Sox have knocked the Cubs out of the playoffs, it's time to turn our attention to the Chicago Bears. Training camp opens tomorrow.
Seriously, Dan, the next 2 games we're going to beat you guys. So just enjoy your little fun. It's so cute, you guys winning, your little glow.
Bears training camp opens
that's right.
tomorrow, Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Practice gates for fans open at 8:30 a.m. Of course, Olivet Nazarene in Bourbonnais or Bourbonnais.
Well, I called it that because Art Norman, remember him from Channel 5?
I do.
He used to say, let's go live now to Amy, who joins us from Bourbonnais. And I'm like, I'm in Bourbonnais.
Yeah,
so I always call it Bourbonnais.
Yeah.
I love Art, and I love Bourbonnais. It's great. And I love Kankakee.
And we're now joined by Stacy Wilkins. She's the CEO of the Kankakee, or is it Kankakee?
No, it's Kankakee.
Is it Can? K?
It's Kankakee.
Kankakee County Visitors and Convention Bureau. Stacy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan and Amy. How are you today?
Good. So I know, unfortunately, Jay Cutler is still part of the Bears, so that's going to depress turnout. But what can fans look forward to if they make their way down to Olivet Nazarene to watch the Bears open up camp tomorrow?
Well, and actually, we call it Bourbonnais down here, so I know you guys
there you go.
Bourbonnais or Bourbonnais, either one, but we go Bourbonnais.
Yeah, nicely done.
Yep.
So
touché.
the fan experience down there in Bourbonnais.
The Bourbonnais experience is pretty awesome. It's just an hour south of Chicagoland, so it's free to come in and everybody can have a good time. There's a ton of stuff to do for kids and all kinds of activities that the Bears have planned for you.
I know there's 10,000 Bear fans that come down. I was there one year, and it's really hard to get autographs. You have to be patient. I'm not really good at being patient, but what's the best way to get those autographs?
They actually have an area where you can get autographs, so they really open it up for the fans to be able to get it pretty easily, and having the patience is pretty important, although I completely understand how it's hard to have patience with 100,000 Bears fans.
Is there going to be any surprise guests? Like I note that Devin Hester just got cut by the Falcons. You know, maybe you bring Devin Hester back. What do you think about that?
I would love to have Devin Hester back. I don't know what the Bears have up their sleeve, but I do know in our community tent we've got an alumni scheduled, and that also will be a surprise. You can get an autograph through there as well.
Now, Kankakee, I did not know this. They're the the barbecue capital of Illinois. So what do you got, a joint on every block? Or what's going on?
We have a ton of great barbecue joints. We've got food trucks. We've got a lot of really awesome places to eat while you guys are down here visiting Bears Camp.
And just in terms of like the logistics of it, so it's easy for people. It's not like going to the Republican or Democrat convention where you've got a 4-mile security perimeter. So people drive down and then accessing the camp at Olivet Nazarene University.
It's easy to access. It's right off I-57. You can get there on LaGrange Road as well. It's free to get in. There's free parking, and no major security checks on the way through.
And tell me about there's this new shuttle bus that you can take from Midway Airport.
There's a shuttle bus that you can take from Midway. It's $2 to get down to Manteno, and then there's a route that'll get you straight to camp. So check out rivervalleymetro.com, and I'll give you all the details on how to make it a cheap ride to camp.
Now, is Kristen Cavalieri driving that shuttle bus? Because, I think she should.
With all the
she
kids,
is, and she's got great shoes for it.
There you go. That's right. Let's pull your weight, Cavalieri. All the money that your husband's being paid to throw interceptions. All right.
She makes her own money, too.
She does. And we actually really wanted to have her down for camp as our special guest. Maybe next year.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, here, I've worked with her before. This is what you do. You offer her a place where she could sell her shoes, and I think that she'll take up your offer.
Amy Jacobson is available, Stacy,
for what?
Twice
for
the fun at
model?
half the price. Yeah. What do you think about that?
We'll take either. As long as Amy likes shoes, too, we're in.
All right. She's Stacy Wilkins. She's the CEO of the Kankakee County Visitors and Convention Bureau. Bears Training Camp. Yep, it's already time for Bears Training Camp. It opens tomorrow, 9:30. Practice gates open for fans at 8:30 a.m. Olivet Nazarene in Bourbonnais, or Bourbonnais, as it's called. Stacy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
I can juggle. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-485-7178. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-485-7178. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-485-7178. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-485-7178. 800-485-7178.
Hey, we know you secretly want to be a rock star, and ChicagoRadioDeals.com can put you one step closer to living out your dream with great deals from Midlothian Music. You can get a 5-star piece drum kit, $350. That's a $700 value. You can create your own sound with a Premiel digital piano, which feels and sounds like a real piano. This keyboard, $350, also comes with a matching stand. Find it all at Midlothian Music, where they're dedicated to bringing you the best selection of American-made, handcrafted instruments. Plus, you will experience exceptional customer service with every purchase. Find all these rockin' deals and more at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
The sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa is brought to you by All Seasons Pool, Spas, and Outdoor Living. All Seasons Pools and Spas begins from the ground up with creative custom design, expert pool construction, and hardscaping, and then finishes with complete maintenance and care, leaving you to enjoy the of summer. As you soak up the sun poolside, imagine a fire pit, outdoor kitchen, or pergola. All Seasons Pool and Spa will turn your boring backyard into a vacation paradise. No need to go off the deep end. Relax, knowing that for over 60 years, All Seasons Pools and Spas has been making a splash in your neighborhood. Visit their showroom and store for a complete selection of pool, spa, robotic pool cleaners, and premium barbecue and grill islands. A trained staff is on hand to provide water testing, salt and chlorine products, and advice for servicing your pool. All Seasons Pool and Spa and Outdoor Living, 135th Street in Orland Park, or resortlivingathome.com. That's resortlivingathome.com.
Coming up on
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Just thinking about Bears Training Camp, I wonder if Urlacher will be down there hawking that...
new hair piece?
Yeah, that Miracle-Gro hair stuff. What do you think?
The restoration hair, isn't that what it's called?
Trying to humanize Hillary, 25 years, unsuccessful. Will it work this week at 7:07?
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're following today. 2 new cases of Legionnaire's disease found at an Illinois veterans home. WIND Chicago News Time 7.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony from First Lady.
to first woman nominated for president by a major party.
We just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet.
Hillary Clinton addressing the Democratic convention by video, closing out night number 2. Shortly after her husband Bill, the former president, talked about what he said is the real Hillary.
She's insatiably curious. She's a natural leader. She's a good organizer. And she's the best darn change maker I ever met in my entire life.
This as Democrats try to build a united front around Clinton. Fox's Tanya J. Powers is live in Philadelphia.
The Wells Fargo Center erupted in cheers when Bernie Sanders helped make the nomination.
I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee of the Democratic Party for President of the United States.
Now, but not everybody was happy about it. His supporters walked out of the convention in mass. They were chanting and holding signs. I was caught up in the middle of that crowd, too. Now, on the program tonight, we'll hear from Clinton's running mate, Senator Tim Kaine, as well as President Obama and Vice President Biden. Dave.
Tanya, Donald Trump, he'll be in Pennsylvania today with his running mate Mike Pence. They'll be holding a town hall in Scranton. A wildfire along California's Big Sur coastline has shut down national parks in that area, while another fire north of Los Angeles is now up to 25% contained.
On the front lines, firefighters use flares to light more backfires again, hoping to burn away vegetation that's now unused fuel for the sand fire, those hot spots that have left 58 square miles looking like charred, smoldering hillsides with utility poles and wires burned and down all over.
That's Fox 11's Ed Lascos. France's main religious leaders have sent a message of unity and solidarity, meeting with the French president the day after 2 ISIS followers went in and attacked a Catholic mass, killing a priest. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
We have sunshine and 72 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An investigation is underway following a deadly shooting involving 3 teens on Chicago's west side. Police say 18-year-old Kenyon Boyd was shot yesterday near LaPorte and West End Avenues. The Chicago Police Union is asking officers to refuse to work overtime hours during Labor Day weekend. The FOP says it wants members to turn down the extra hours as a way to protest the disrespect of city police and police across the country. But Superintendent Eddie Johnson says he will be working over the holiday himself.
If we want to show support for our officers, then our responsibility and our oath is to be out there to support each other and to back each other up whenever we're out there on the streets, because that's what we do. We're here to serve and protect, and we do that day in and day out.
Johnson saying yesterday he's not worried about a staff shortage. Midwest grocery retailer Meijer says some salads and sandwiches that it sells are being recalled due to a potential risk of salmonella contamination. The markets of Meijer products contain egg from a supplier which notified Meijer of a positive test for salmonella. They were sold at Meijer stores from July 20 through Monday. Another potential Democratic candidate for governor making a case against incumbent Republican Bruce Rauner, Chris Kennedy, former head of the Merchandise Mart, and the son of the late U.S. Senator Robert Kennedy, met with key Democrats during the Illinois convention, saying that Rauner and his allies are tarnishing the American dream in Illinois. The Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs says 2 residents at the Quincy Veterans Home have been diagnosed with Legionnaire's disease. The same facility recently completed a renovation of its plumbing system in response to an outbreak last year that killed 12. White Sox over the Cubs, 3-0. The news service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better, believe it. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been taking 4 a day of the fruits and vegetables, and I have hypogammaglomerulia. Basically, you have antibodies in your body, IgA, IgM, and IgG. and somewhere along the line, my body stopped making them. So I don't have any resistance to infection. But I've been taking fruits and vegetables since we started, which I think is well over a year now. And the doctor can't believe that I've not had infections and flus. And he told me, whatever I'm doing, keep doing. So that's what I'm doing.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to take care of your will or trust. LegalZoom makes it easy. They're not a law firm, so there's no office visits or paying expensive hourly rates. Instead, you could save over $100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan bundles. And if you don't know whether a will or trust is right for you, don't worry. You'll work with an independent attorney available in 48 states to get advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom.com.
Thousands of people are choosing the flexibility of working when they want, driving with Uber. You'll control your day, plus be able to start earning right away just by driving your own car.
I've got 2 kids. They're both in summer camp, and I'll drop them off. Then I turn on the Uber app, the ride requests come in, and I'm earning extra money. Working when I want, being my own boss, driving with Uber is definitely the best option for me.
Earn the extra money you need on your schedule. Get started today. Sign up right now. Go to uber.com/drive now. uber.com/drive now.
7:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is heavy. It's 35 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. The main delays are from Pratt to the Junction. Outbound, it's 25 minutes. The Kennedy, 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 22 from Montrose. 17 in the Express. Outbound, 38 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 57 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, 48 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 45 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th of Loop, northbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed from 31st to Jackson. Tri-State, the delays are northbound, 115th to 75th, from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway, still Bartlett to Roselle, Reagan Tollway, 53 to 355, and Myers to the Tri-State. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for your business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Patchy fog for the morning, otherwise a hot and humid day with clouds and sun, a high of 90. Tonight, partly cloudy with a late night shower or thunderstorm around with a low 68. Then clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. Not as warm but humid, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
72 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals. Get more money for your home by listing with a real marketing expert.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
In the spring of 1971, I met a girl.
It's 2016, and American women are not going back. We are moving forward.
Already great nation. Donald, did you hear me? Already great nation.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
So you were celebrating, huh? Running around the building with your crazy socks hat on saying, we won too, we won too.
No, I was re-examining my life after Bill Clinton's poignant speech yesterday, and
Realize that you haven't found that kind of love yet?
The journey that those two have taken together over the course of the last 40 years, 45 years is really something. I thought it was undermined a bit, though, when he said, I'm with her and her and her and her and her. I thought that was kind of took away from the message. You know what I mean? But here's the question. Are you willing to look at Hillary in a new light? You know, that personal story that Billy spun yesterday. 25 years, the left has tried to humanize Hillary. What does that say about Hillary? And her numbers have never been worse. And they're still at it. And they got 48 hours left. They're on the clock. But, I mean, does that story change your opinion of Hillary Clinton? Does it, or is it something where they just have to make her marginally more likable so that they can really focus their attention where it needs to be, because this is their only chance to win, much like Obama in 2012, making Donald Trump box office poison the way Barack Obama made Mitt Romney box office poison. It would turn it away from a referendum on the incumbent, and Hillary's the effective incumbent here, to a referendum on the challenger. It's very difficult to do for an incumbent. Obama successfully did it in 12 with Romney's unwitting help. That's what Hillary needs to do. But maybe they need to kind of bump her up just a little bit for those people who've been under a rock for the past 2.5 decades, and that'll be enough for her to skate through.
I mean, it was uncommonly personal to hear this love story. I've never heard it before. Did it change my opinion? Did it make
You've
me
got a friend.
Wait, did you say that I've got a friend?
You just call
Hillary.
my name.
Says
Hillary.
And you know.
I mean, James
It was a
Taylor.
little sappy.
They're using James Taylor to combat terrorism. The least they could do is use him to, burnish Hillary's image a bit.
I know all of you think I'm a closet Democrat. I'm a recovering Democrat, but last night
The recovery could be going faster.
Made me fall in love again with the Clintons. It did. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
my God.
312-642-5600.
Hillbilly House of Cards.
I am a sucker for a good love story, and it all began in the spring of 1971.
In the spring of 1971, I met a girl.
And then a little bit later, in the early summer, I met Hillary.
Stop it. But it did get, the creep factor just went up a little when he tried to touch her. We don't need to hear about you trying to touch her.
After the class, I followed her out, intending to introduce myself. I got close enough to touch her back, but I couldn't do it. Somehow I knew this would not be just another tap on the shoulder.
Just another, like so many taps.
That I might be starting something I couldn't stop.
No, I swear.
And I think about that all these years later, and I weep. I couldn't stop it. Oh, Lord, how I wanted to stop it. Oh, how I wish 1971 had never happened. Why did I go to Yale Law School?
I saw it as, well, first of all, he plagiarized a Hallmark card, because I swear I've seen that in a Hallmark card. When I was with you, I try to stop something that I couldn't control. It's just as if their love is being controlled by a higher being.
I thought
they're so in love that there is no love like this love, Dan. And I think that you're envious because you might not have experienced this type of love and commitment before.
No, I haven't experienced this type of love, and God willing, I never will. But you're right. I found it to be a little bit contrived when he said, "Hillary, you complete me." I think I've heard that somewhere
when he said
before.
she had me at hello, that one, for me, that, from Jerry Maguire.
And then Springsteen came out and he played Secret Garden. I thought that was a little over the top. That was unnecessary. Let's go to Verlin on the south side. Hey, Verlin.
All right, how y'all doing? Now, I got two issues with both of y'all today.
Uh-oh.
Now, look, Amy, you first. You've been harping 2 days about Sandra Bland. Listen, she would have never been in that jail cell to hang herself if that's what happened, if it wasn't for that police officer taking it too far. He should have wrote her a ticket and sent her by the way. If it was me, I'd have wrote the ticket and threw it in her face and drove off. And then
wait a minute. She got pulled over for improper
you would have
use
found
of
yourself in a jail cell.
Wait, Verlin, relax. Verlin, relax. She got pulled over for improper use of a signal and a lane change. And she didn't. When she got out of the car, she had a cigarette in his face, which I thought was very disrespectful, and she gave him attitude. Just take the ticket, deal with it later in court.
Listen, that police officer just took it too far. And then you talking about you mentioned Trayvon Martin's mother. Listen, Trayvon was no criminal. Listen, that Trey, George Zimmerman started the whole damn thing by walking up to him, bothering that man. He's coming from the store.
Verlin.
You know, he would have went home and enjoyed his whole night if it wasn't for George Zimmerman asking for it. A play cop. Somebody that had favoritism from the police, and he was a play cop.
Well, he didn't have favorite. Verlin. I am not defending George Zimmerman, but to confuse Trayvon Martin with, like, for example, Hadia Pendleton is to confuse the issue. And I don't appreciate the Democrats purposely confusing the issue because they're two separate things. And you'll note the jury that acquitted George Zimmerman in that trial, you had jurors weeping. We wanted to convict him, but the evidence just didn't support a conviction meeting the reasonable doubt standard. So, I mean, let's just infuse the facts here. And the specific issue I was raising, it's not a defense of George Zimmerman. It should have never escalated to that point where anybody was hurt, much less killed. However, to confuse the issue, again, between a Hadia Pendleton caught in the crossfire, an innocent victim, and Trayvon Martin case or Sandra Bland case is to purposely confuse the issue.
Or Michael Brown case. I mean, Michael Brown. And Michael Brown's mother, his mother was supposed to speak and she did not. It was Jordan Davis's mother. When he didn't get killed by police officers, he got killed by somebody who didn't like, they were getting an argument over music, that he was blaring his music too loud. And then Sandra Bland's mom spoke and Trayvon Martin's mom. So it was a hodgepodge of gun violence victims and alleged police brutality victims.
Mike in Stone Park.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Mike.
What you said earlier about Bill saying he's with her, I'm thinking that would make a great T-shirt, be a blue T-shirt with his caricature and about a dozen of that H with the arrow. I'm with her.
Right.
I'm with her.
Yeah.
I'm with her, and I'm with her, and I'm with
her. And her.
All right, Mike, I'll split the proceeds from the sale of the T-shirts with you. Thanks for the idea.
Seriously, you can make a killing on that.
I really should. I should merchandise the stuff.
You got to patent that.
It's all merchandising these days. Yeah, bobbleheads, T-shirts, furry pencils, nail files. Tom and Schaumburg.
Good morning. Clinton knew if he touched her, he might not be able to stop. Who the hell was he talking about? Hillary or Monica? Secondly, that whole convention has turned into a freak show. What a bunch of clowns. Their philosophy is to pretend that nothing is wrong, that they've done a wonderful job, and there's nothing wrong. And if there is something wrong, well, it must be George Bush's fault. I don't understand how anybody can buy into this.
Thanks for the call, Tom. I tell you.
But there's not one mention of ISIS, not one. There's no American flags there. America.
How can you be talking about those things when you got the
what?
best darn little change maker?
Well, she's insatiably curious. She's a natural leader. She's a good organizer. And she's the best darn change maker I ever met in my entire life.
Please, President Clinton, please, I beg of you, do not use the adjective insatiable to describe your wife ever again. For the God's sake, man.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey, we have a guest coming up. But first, here's your forecast.
Who is that guest?
That guest is Josh Kraushaar from National Journal. He'll be with us next. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine right now. Hot and humid for a great summer day in July. A high of 90 degrees. Then tonight for the Cubs-Sox Crosstown Classic, where the Cubs are going to win. It's going to be partly cloudy, warm, and a shower or thunderstorm well after the game.
Is there anything more inappropriate than an overconfident Cubs fan? Really?
A cocky Sox fan?
History means nothing to you, does it?
Well, congratulations. You're finally at 500. Must feel good to be back up there.
Playoff run.
And then for Thursday, it's going to be partly sunny, not as warm, but we can't rule out a passing shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon, a high of 80 degrees. Let's get the right travel times for the best in the business. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thank you so much, Amy and Dan. Good morning. It's heavy on the inbound Edens, Pratt to the junction. 35 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 43 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 46. The Eisenhower, it is an hour and 10 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 48 minutes. The Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45 minutes. The Ryans, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. All those street closures around Grand Park for Lollapalooza. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is just a mess from 31st to Jackson. Reagan Tollway eastbound jammed. Naperville Road to 355 with a crash in the two left lanes. And then from Myers to the Tri-State, the other tollways are now pretty heavy as well. Jim Talamonte of the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Oh, have you seen my Solotube? My neighbors came over yesterday to check it out because they hear me talking about it on the radio. What it is it's a modern version and a better version of those traditional skylights. It is a tube that they place in your roof without any problems. It takes just 2 hours to install, and it is really the best way to bring light into your home, natural lighting. It's affordable, and it's this amazing technology that, again, is better than that traditional skylight, which you know will leak. So I spoke with Katie over at Chicago Skylight Pros, Chicagoland Solotube premier dealer, and what a great experience. The natural lighting looks beautiful, and my bathroom where I placed it really seems larger, and it doesn't emit any heat. And it's so simple and inexpensive. Katie from Chicago Katie from Chicago Skylight Pros did a consultation. I picked out my Solotube system that I wanted, and now I have that natural light that brightens my home without tearing apart the roof. I highly recommend you brighten your home with natural light using Solotube daylighting systems. Call my friend Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros, a Solotube premier dealer. Call her at 844-789-SHINE, S-H-I-N-E. Mention me and receive $75 off your first Solotube. That's 844-789-SHINE. Or visit ChicagoSkylightPros.com to view my video and see the before and after pics. That's ChicagoSkylightPros.com.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all right, talking about DNC Day 2. They got 48 hours left to humanize Hillary, 25 years into that effort. And for more, we're joined by our friend Josh Crawshare, who's the political editor at National Journal, and joins us from Philadelphia. Josh, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan, good to be back on the show.
So what is the content of Bill's speech and the emphasis on the love story? What does that indicate about where the campaign thinks it needs to shore up Hillary before they focus their attention and money on Trump?
Well, look, the political goal of Bill Clinton's speech was to humanize Hillary Clinton. They know the poll numbers showing Hillary Clinton is viewed as very untrustworthy. Her negative numbers are as high as any Democratic nominee in modern history. So Bill Clinton is trying to talk about his marriage, his courtship, his personal relationship in the 70s and 80s with Hillary Clinton to bring some new information to the fold, to really create a different picture of Hillary Clinton than many or that some undecided voters might not be aware about. The problem was, in my mind, it was a somewhat sanitized version of the Clinton marriage, and I think enough people are aware of the fact that they're married, aware of what happened in the White House in 1998, aware of Monica Lewinsky, aware of the downs in that marriage, and it's, he tried to make it seem like a fairy tale. I think a lot of voters know that was not necessarily an accurate version of what actually transpired in their marriage, and it also glossed over policy. I expect tonight with President Obama, Vice President Biden, Michael Bloomberg speaking, there's going to be more of a focus on what Hillary Clinton did when she was in public office as a senator and as a Secretary of State. But Bill Clinton really glossed over the policy and really just
well, because last night was about making her likable again. And he did tell a story. I'd never heard their love story before, especially like that. But he did say that they shared heartbreak together, joy and heartbreak. And he seemed to get... he just seemed a little melancholy and almost if he was going to cry when he talked about the heartbreaking.
Yeah, he was talking about Chelsea getting a C at Stanford.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was a lot of time spent on a time that before Hillary Clinton was in politics. I think Bill had a line that said something that she did more before she was 30 than most politicians do during their time in office. But that was also the weakness of the speech, in my judgment. There was so much focus on what she did before becoming First Lady of Arkansas, and not as much about what she did and why people should elect her as President of the United States.
It seemed to me the other thing he tried to accomplish, though, because all that biography makes it about her rather than about the country and about tomorrow, and elections are about the future. He tried to address that by just labeling her with a description, with a moniker that I think is going to be tough to sell. His little change maker. All right, she doesn't want to be seen as an extension of President Obama, as an ambassador for the status quo. But even half the delegates see her that way.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Clinton is usually pretty subtle, but when it came to talking about how she was a change maker, I mean, I think he repeated that word over a dozen times during the speech. And that's the challenge that Democrats face. The public is in a mood for change. About 65-70% of the country, including many Democrats, think the country is headed in the wrong direction. So Bill Clinton has to make the case that Hillary Clinton is a candidate of change, even though she's about as establishment a politician as anyone in this country. So it's a very tough needle to thread. I don't know if anyone could do it. Bill Clinton gave it his best shot.
Yeah, and he loves to campaign, so he was right in his wheelhouse. What about the mothers of the movement? What was the crowd's reaction? I know they chanted Black Lives Matter, but it seemed to be a mixed message between, gun violence on the streets, caught in the crossfire, and then to actually somebody who was possibly died at the hands of police.
Yeah, it played well in the hall, but I think outside the hall there's going to be there'll be some blowback, certainly from Republicans, the law and order, those up with the law and order bent, because there wasn't a equivalent focus on the police officers that have been killed in the line of duty. And David Axelrod also made that very comment that it should have been simple for the DNC to put some of the families of police officers who have been killed in recent months on the stage as well, but they didn't do that. And these two conventions are so polarized. There's no middle in this country right now. And just looking at how the Republicans were focusing solely on law and order, the Democrats focusing on Black Lives Matter, there's no middle anymore in the country, and these two conventions have reflected that.
Well, and speaking of that, kind of no middle in the Democrat Party, just as its own self-contained organization either. You had Bernie Sanders delegates do kind of a walkout, silent protest, although they weren't so silent that some of them didn't burn an Israeli flag while chanting "Long live the Intifada," which is a curious thing for the supporters of a Jewish candidate to do. But they're confused. I get it. So what about that? It's one thing for the antics and the distraction of some of the Sanders supporters at a convention. How concerned is Camp Clinton about the real electoral impact of Sanders supporters, for example, that stay home even if they don't go all the way over and vote for Trump?
Yeah, well, so here's the risk. I don't think there are going to be that many Bernie Sanders supporters that go for Trump. In fact, if you believe the Pew poll, 90% are inclined to vote for Hillary Clinton among Sanders supporters. But what that poll doesn't test are the third-party candidates.
Right.
And if you actually look at the four-candidate test, there are a lot of Sanders supporters that would defect to Jill Stein, the Green Party nominee. And there are some that would defect to Gary Johnson, who has a very quirky platform as the Libertarian Party nominee. And as you mentioned, some may stay home. So when you add all those options together, there is a real risk that the base isn't fully behind Hillary Clinton. I think the convention did a good job yesterday trying to get those Sanders supporters on board. But there is a small minority, but a very vocal minority, that is not going to support Clinton under any circumstances. And when you have a Nader-like candidate in Jill Stein that is polling about 3 or 4% in the polls, that could be a difference in a close race.
Yeah, it's like Ralph Nader and Al Gore all over again. Could be. Josh Crushare, the politics editor at National Journal, nationaljournal.com. Josh, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Quickly, Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan and Amy, I think it's an interesting contrast with the families, the Trump family or extended family and the Clinton family. I read a story on the internet a few months ago about the fact that Hillary had to be convinced by Bill to even have a child. It's interesting they have one child. That Trump has a extended family. I think that's an interesting contrast, and I think it'll make a difference in the voting booth, potentially for women voters that are, kind of undecided. I think Trump did a very good job in the convention displaying the difference
Yeah, thanks for the call,
Well,
Jordan.
Trump had multiple children with multiple wives. So
Yeah, that's the other difference is
one's fine.
One
child's
spouse and 3 spouses.
Hear about the big stories of the day,
Mike
then
Pence.
talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Your work is stressful. Pressure, deadlines, and challenges can take a toll. Factor in caring for your elderly family member, and the struggle for life balance can be overwhelming. Enter Alliance Home Service. From your first meeting, you'll begin to achieve balance. As professionals, Alliance specializes in medical and non-medical care, including nursing. As a leading family alternative to nursing home and institutional care, they match a caregiver to your loved one, helping maintain a positive lifestyle for your entire family. Caregivers have the highest level of training and expertise. With highly competitive regular pricing and a special introductory rate, you'll experience the cost efficiency of in-home care and the level of care you'll expect from family. Schedule a no-obligation private care consultation and you'll receive a $50 restaurant.com gift card. Call founder and registered nurse Linda Weiler at 866-227-3459 or visit alliancecaregiver.com. That's 866-227-3459 or alliancecaregiver.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
If you think all banks are the same, it's time to think about Signature Bank Chicago. I'm Pete Olson, head of commercial banking at Signature Bank, where the people who own the bank operate the bank. Not in an abstract way, but in the same hands-on, personalized way that you run your business. We don't rely on a legion of business developers to find new relationships. We don't trust an outsourced phone bank to address your customer service needs, and we don't delegate decision-making to some anonymous credit committee that you'll never meet. We do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. Call us today to see the Signature Bank difference.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure a reverse mortgage, give me a call. Hal called Chicago's hometown bank. You know, the one that counts your change for free for a reverse mortgage. Hal thought Chicago's hometown bank's closing costs were excessive, so he called for a free consultation. I reviewed Hal's loan documents and confirmed that Chicago's hometown bank was charging him over $9,500 in closing costs, which is ridiculous. I helped Hal secure a reverse mortgage and paid for all of his closing costs. Now I know how Chicago's hometown bank pays for all those change counting machines. If you're in the market for a reverse mortgage and want to be treated with respect like Hal, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
Amy, you know why I love Bill Clinton speaking? Because it generates the best from our ad hoc comedy writers that text in. Text from 847, Bill, and she stood by my side through bimbos thick and thin. Text from 773. This is a good one.
Okay.
This is good. Are you ready for this?
I'm sitting down.
Hillary is the best little change maker. Babe, I'm going to the strip club. You got 10 singles for a sawbuck?
That's good. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, our good friend Stephen Moore will be here from the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, while they're in Philly, Trump was in North Carolina and talking Veterans Affairs and minimum wage. We'll discuss it with Mr. Moore.
And why salads make you fat and broke. And a sewer to brewer machine. Oh, you're not going to want to miss that segment. But first, let's go.
Combine the two.
Let's go to the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
73, sunshine outside. The president set to join the festivities today as the Democratic National Convention celebrates the nomination of the first woman presidential candidate from a major party.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump will be on Reddit tonight during the Democratic National Convention in an Ask Me Anything forum at 6 Central. Coast Guard says 2 vessels which came to the rescue have plucked 46 from the freezing waters of the Bering Sea off Alaska. The 220-foot fishing vessel started taking water on Tuesday morning. A 23-year-old woman shot and killed on the city's south side. Africa Bass was walking on a sidewalk just after midnight this morning in the 8700 block of South Burley when shots were fired by a passing black SUV. She was struck in the back and transported to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where she later died. Police tell us they have a possible offender in custody. White Sox over the Cubs, 3-0. The news, a service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better. Believe it. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher can't believe what's happening to the Clinton campaign.
But you want to hear how goofy the Democrats are right now? They want to blame the Russians for the WikiLeaks stuff. Here's the Clinton campaign manager, Robbie Mook, on CNN.
The Russians are releasing these emails for the purpose of actually helping Donald Trump. I don't think it's coincidental that these emails were released on the eve of our convention here. We also saw
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Active lifestyles demand that the food you eat have a purpose, but that doesn't mean you can't indulge in your favorite foods. With Muscle Mac macaroni and cheese, you can finally eat the macaroni and cheese you love and still maintain a healthy diet. With GMO-free pasta and real cheese, with no synthetic dyes, colors, or artificial flavors. Muscle Mac's creamy, cheesy sauce blankets the high-protein pasta for a burst of flavor in every bite. Muscle Mac delivers 20 grams of protein in every delicious serving. Fortified with added vegetable and dairy proteins, it's an affordable and healthy alternative to animal proteins. Just one serving of Muscle Mac mac and cheese provides 40% of your recommended daily protein intake and can be a great addition to a balanced diet. This isn't any ordinary macaroni and cheese. Muscle Mac is made with more real cheese than any other brand. It's a yummy and satisfying meal for your whole family after a full day of activities or anytime you crave the comfort of a delicious bowl of mac and cheese. Available now at Jewel Osco and Pete's Fresh Market throughout Chicagoland.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads. Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The eastbound Reagan Tollway has huge delays from around Washington Street all the way to 355, where all lanes are blocked. Traffic only gets by the left shoulder. This due to a crash. Also, big delays on northbound Lakeshore Drive this morning, 31st to Jackson. The Edens is 35 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Kennedy, 44 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55. The Eisenhower's an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 50 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic. Service of Burger King's Grilled Dogs. Where are you going to get a delicious grilled hot dog? Your backyard? No, Burger King. Burger King grilled dogs are made with 100% beef and flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled dog today.
It's 2016, and American women are not going back. We are moving forward.
AM 560. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Clouds and sun, hot and humid, high 90 today. Currently 72. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Feldco's biggest sale of the year. Get $1 installation on all windows, siding, and doors.
Call 866 for Feldco.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy,
I'm doing my cane dance.
Anthony Weiner's favorite song. We were talking about the Clinton speech last night.
Yeah, the love
with our
story.
friend Josh Kroshar. And I'll tell you what, one interpretation, one review of this, this dude on MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, she wasn't real thrilled with it.
Yeah, the A+ for the end of the speech. I think the beginning of the speech was a controversial way to start, honestly. Talking, a girl leading with this long story about him being attracted to an unnamed girl and thinking about whether he was starting something he couldn't finish. Building her whole political story for the whole first half of the speech around her marriage to him. I think, lest there were worries that this was going to be too feminist a convention, that was not a feminist way to start. But the end of the speech was really good. I got to say that the top of the speech I found shocking and weird.
Yeah.
Wow. She's
shocking
just,
weird.
I did say earlier, she's just jealous, but she's just envious.
Yeah.
Because she's never experienced that kind of love. I mean, it's hard to watch such love unfold before your eyes and never having partaked in it.
That's the real thing, what we saw there. I mean, I guess that dude Maddow hoped Bill Clinton would burn his bra on stage or something like this. It's a fascinating response, though.
It's crazy.
It's just not feminist enough. Not feminist enough. It would take...
Not progressive enough for the left.
Dems have been trying for 25 years to humanize Hillary. It would take them at least that long to humanize Rachel Maddow. Oh, speaking of feminists, we're now joined by our friend Steve Moore, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation and Trump campaign economic policy advisor. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
I was in Cleveland, but I am not in Philadelphia.
You're not welcome there. They don't like your kind in Philly. People believe in free minds and free markets. No place there. So let me ask you this. So while that Clinton humanizing effort was unfolding in Philly, Donald Trump was in North Carolina talking a little bit about Veterans Affairs, but he also said that we should have a $10 federal minimum wage. There's a guy for a minimum wage hike. You like government setting wages by fiat?
No, I don't believe that. Look, you can have a minimum wage, but you got to make sure that it's not so high that it's going to throw people out of work. I think $10 an hour minimum wage is crazy because, by the way, the liberals want a $15 an hour minimum wage. What do you do about the worker who can't produce $8 or $10, $15 an hour? Does that mean they're not allowed to work in the American economy? I do also believe very strongly that if we do have a minimum wage of say $10 an hour, which I would be opposed to, at least we ought to have a $5 or $6 an hour minimum wage for teenagers, because most of the people who make the minimum wage are young people. There are some people trying to raise a family on the minimum wage, but most people are young, and it's a starter job. For me, it was my first job. First job I ever had was a minimum wage job. And, you learn a lot on your first job. If you don't get a first job, guess what? You can't get a second job. And if you can't get a second job, you can't get a third. So I think we do a real disservice by pricing, the young people out of the workforce.
And I realize that. I mean, if it'll motivate you to work harder in school if you have a minimum wage job and, you're flipping burgers at McDonald's or, working at a taco joint. But $10 an hour, is it how disaffected would that be on our economy if it was $10 an hour?
Well, let me give you a couple of facts about the minimum wage just so aren't understood. First of all, take a wild guess. This is your Jeopardy question today. What percentage of American workers earn the minimum wage?
What is 5%?
Oh, my gosh. You must have gone to the Steve Moore School of Economics. Exactly, about 5%. About 1 in 20 workers earns the minimum wage. So for the vast, vast majority of American workers, the minimum wage is completely irrelevant. We don't want minimum wage jobs. We want much higher paid jobs. And the truth is, under Obama, what we've created is mostly minimum wage jobs. If you want a job as a burger flipper or you want to work at Walmart, it's a pretty good economy. The biggest problem, and this is what I think Donald Trump should say, and I'm going to meet with him this weekend, and I'm going to tell him this, is, look, you should say the problem isn't the minimum wage in this country. It's the median wage. It's the middle-class wage, and that's not rising. It hasn't risen now for 12 years, and that's where Obama and Hillary Clinton have to own this economy. Just before we came on, I was watching TV, and they had one of the Clinton surrogates and saying, we've done so much for this country. We have the reason we have so much income inequality is because we haven't raised the minimum wage. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. First of all, we have raised the minimum wage 3 times in the last, 8 or 9 years. Number 2, you guys have been in charge. And under Obama, income inequality has gone up more than any other president. So we have more income inequality after Obama's 8 years than any time in American history.
How pleased are you, sticking with Trump for a minute, how pleased are you with the selection of Mike Pence, particularly as it relates to economic issues? One of the reasons Trump said he selected Pence was because of how well the economy has performed in Indiana under first Daniels and now Pence.
Well, look, first of all, it's not that hard to perform in Indiana when you consider who your neighbor is, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Too soon.
No doubt about that.
Just kidding, folks. Just kidding. Half kidding. I mean, look, things have really have improved dramatically in Indiana. And incidentally, it's not just been under Mike Pence. I mean, Mike Pence has been a great, great governor. But Mitch Daniels, who was, his predecessor, was an amazing governor, too. And remember, Mitch Daniels used to say, it's not so hard here in Indiana. It's like we're living next to the Simpsons in Illinois. So, yeah, I mean, I think that Pence was a fantastic choice. I think he is. By the way, I first met him, guys, when I was running the Club for Growth. He was one of the first candidates we ever supported. And one of the things that has always impressed me about Mike Pence, the story doesn't get told much, is that do you guys remember that Medicare prescription drug bill that Bush pushed back in, I think it was around 2002?
Medicare Part D, right.
Yeah, you got it. Well, guess who led the fight on the House floor against that bill?
Let me see.
Mike Pence. And Pence did it despite the fact that every Republican leader said, we're going to ruin you if you do this. You'll never get anywhere in politics if you take on your own president. And then when they realized they couldn't hit him over the head with a club to get him to change his ways, then they bribed him and said, we'll make you a member of the leadership. You'll be on the A train up to the very top in politics if you just go along with this. And to his credit, Mike Pence never flinched. He led the fight against it. He almost won. Remember, that was the fight. They kept the vote open till like 4 a.m. until they could, twist off enough arms on the Republican side to get the thing passed. But Mike Pence is a guy who has a spine of steel, and he has real convictions, and that's something that's sorely lacking in this town, especially when you consider who's running for the Democratic president.
Well, Mike Pence and Donald Trump, don't they have differing opinions on trade?
Yeah, I have a different opinion with Donald Trump on trade.
Well,
but
can you convince him?
Economic advisors, and I said this many times on Fox and I think on your show, one of the things I admire about Trump is he knows I have a different opinion about trade than he does, but, there's no litmus tests. And the Wall Street Journal had a great editorial about this the other day saying, can you imagine the Democrats putting a pro-life person up on the stage this week? Can you imagine that?
Right.
It wouldn't happen. I don't think it's happened in 20 years. There's only one. If you're a Democrat, you have to toe the party line on everything, from gay rights to abortion to raising the minimum wage to raising taxes. There's no diversity of opinion whatsoever on the Democratic side. But look, Trump is coming around on trade, by the way. Did you see the other day he said trade is good?
Well, he did, but he also said on Meet the Press in response to an inquiry by Chuck Todd that companies that pick up, move to another country, and then try and sell their goods back into this country are going to face a tariff, maybe 15%, maybe 25%. He hasn't settled on a number, but he certainly said was going in that direction.
Okay, so that's fair enough. But I'll tell you, we're going to be coming a lot with the tax plan that was devised by Larry Kudlow and Art Laffer and Steve Moore. So it's a very good plan.
Yeah.
And one of the ways we're going to deal with this problem of companies leaving, because it is a problem. I mean, I hate when a company picks up and leaves Michigan or Indiana or Illinois or Ohio and goes to China. What we're going to do is we're going to change the system, the way we tax. Number one, we're going to tax our companies much less, so they're going to have a less of an incentive to go. Number two, we're going to tax them when they import stuff in the United States, but we're not going to tax what we produce here. We have the dumbest tax system in the whole world. We're going to fix that. You're going to love this plan, guys. I guarantee you.
With that,
you're going to love this tax plan.
With that troika constructing it, I'm sure I will. Now, I know you're going to meet with Trump this weekend, so can I run a slogan by you? See if you spitfall it. All right.
Wait, I think I know what it is. Make America Great Again?
No, he's got that one. No. This is another one. Maybe he can use this on the stump. And I just, it'd be fun to see it on the stump. He doesn't even have to attribute it to me. So, it's alliteration is important, and you need 3 items. So, are you ready?
Yes.
No NAFTA, no NATO, no naps. How do you like that?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right.
Somebody told me a funny, a pretty good joke that I tried to get Trump to use in his speech was, that Bill Clinton is now getting $300,000 a speech. Did you see that? He's getting $300,000 a speech. Imagine how much money he's going to make if his wife becomes president.
Yeah.
What are his speaking fees going to be then? $1 million?
Absolutely. All right, Steve Moore, Chief Economist of the Heritage Foundation. Good luck with that Trump meeting this weekend. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. I'll report back to you next week.
Can he charge if he's a first lady, though?
Sure.
That's the thing. Can you? Can you charge somebody for a speech if he's the first lady?
I don't know.
I think it's against the policy.
It's a whole new ball game.
Stephen Moore joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Okay, so you can't, because Michelle Obama, that she can't be paid for speeches right now.
You're functioning like a Congress. So Bill Clinton, easy, he gets divorced, so they can go on and continue making the money.
Nice.
Making the money for his honey, as we heard about last night. Gross.
Thank you. Forecast for today, plenty of sunshine. It's going to be hot and humid, a high of 90 degrees. Tonight, after the Cubs-Sox Crosstown Classic, we're going to have a shower, thunderstorm, and the White Sox fans are going to go home crying because they're going to lose. And then tomorrow, partly sunny, not as warm, a high of 79 degrees. Any tears on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
For the Sox, of course, Amy, but keep saying what you've said the last couple of days. It's worked well. Southbound 355, big delays. Maple to 75th with a crash in the two right lanes. Northbound, slow from I-55 to 75th, and then from 63rd to Roosevelt and Army Trail to 290. Big delays on the Reagan Tollway. 59 to 355 with a crash now on the right shoulder. The Tri-State's very slow. 115th to 31st and Roosevelt to Grand. Lakeshore Drive, northbound just a mess. 31st to Jackson with all the street closures in Grant Park. The Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 35. The Kennedy, 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55. The Ike, an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound an hour and 3 minutes. The Stevenson is an hour and 3 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 51 minutes. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Robert Weissite of Robert C. Weissite Company agree.
I appreciate the depth of experience my Cornerstone banker brings to the table. Last June, we located a building we wanted to buy for expansion. My Cornerstone banker walked me through everything I could expect to face in advance, from the letter of intent all the way through the day of closing. It went very smooth and predictably and with low stress. He had been through this type of transaction many times, and his years of experience helped me make my purchasing experience predictable, efficient, and successful.
Thanks, Bob. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender, member FDIC.
I'm Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. In a 2004 interview on the topic of his faith, Obama was asked for his definition of sin. He answered, being out of alignment with my values. Obama told us in 2004 he was his own God. Obama signaled his belief that he is above the law, but the GOP failed to call the question and amplify his answer. Recently, Hillary was asked by Charlie Rose if what she did regarding her private email server was wrong. Hillary answered, quote, well, it was wrong because look what it has generated. Wrong only exists for Hillary when an act jeopardizes her inextricably linked political and financial interests. Hillary has already amplified the message that she, too, is her own God. In 2016, then, the GOP would do well to call the question, if you don't want America to become an autocratic theocracy, then you probably shouldn't vote for someone who thinks they're God, right?
Hey, you've heard me talking about my good friends at Guardian Security Services for a few months now, and if you haven't called them yet, what are you waiting for? If you're unhappy with your door staff or on-site security officers at your gated community or residential high-rise, man, don't tolerate it, and certainly don't renew your contract for 2017. Instead, get a quote from Guardian Security Services. I put my name behind these guys because I love them, and I really trust them. They only assign the most professional, highly trained door staff and security officers in all of Chicagoland. Schedule a free security assessment with my friends at Guardian Security Services. Get a contract quote for next year. Right now, call 708-385-3300. That's 708-385-3300. Tell them me, Joe Walsh, sent you. Or go online at GuardianSecurityInc.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Right. Me send you.
Me
Tell them
send
me sent
you.
you. Isn't it tell them I sent you?
I think that is the proper grammar. That Hershey education didn't go to waste.
Thank you, Dan.
Warren in Bloomingdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
I heard you guys, saying when about Clinton's speech that this one caller said, okay, well, Trump has all these children, his extended family sort of outshines the Clintons. And then you kind of stepped on that praise, saying that, oh, yeah, but he's had 3 wives. But,
He's had 5 kids with 3 wives.
Oh, also, don't forget Roger Clinton. I mean, that really helps the Clinton extended family, Roger.
Well, yeah, exactly.
A superstar.
But let's not forget that that whole speech by Bill Clinton last night, it may have been, nice on the, a very sympathetic speech, but they haven't been married. According to the information nobody's going to verify this, I suppose, but they haven't even lived together for 20 years.
That's the secret of a strong marriage,
Yeah, you
Warren.
want to stay together, be apart.
Thanks for the call.
That's my thing. If you want to stay together, be apart. Huh? Do you like it? Should I put that
Absence
on
makes
a
the
t-shirt?
heart grow fonder. All cliches are true. And Warren, here's the other thing. I mean, how dare you question the credibility of a man impeached for lying under oath? Are you suggesting that anything Bill Clinton said last night was inauthentic? Oh, Warren.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
What is unique about America, according to Ayn Rand? Most governments regard some men as sacrifices to others and society as an end in itself. They hold that a man's life belongs to society, which can dispose of him in any way it pleases. That any freedom is only by permission of society, which may be revoked at any time. The U.S. regarded man as an end in himself and society as a means to a peaceful, voluntary coexistence of individuals. The U.S. held that man's life is his by right, by moral principle, and by his nature, that rights belong to individuals and society itself has no rights, and the only moral purpose of government is to protect individual rights. This is what made America special. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm 67, so I'm old. I'm doing a job, a very intense job, physical. And I had a headache coming on through, my vision starts going. I was getting a headache, migraine. And I took 3 and 3 of those veggies and fruit. Right. And it disappeared while I was working in about 1 minute. Now, that's fabulous, because usually when I get a migraine, it goes into so hard I have to lay down. He has me on a hook here as to the value of the product. It's excellent. Don't change it.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code
Chicago.
Mike Rowe here with a quick IAQ test for my buddy Bill.
Wait, I didn't study.
IAQ stands for Indoor Air Quality, something 1 hour excels at.
Well, I aced my SATs, so...
Yes or no? Do you breathe inside your home?
Yeah.
And what do you breathe?
Air.
And what's in that air?
Air?
Sorry, we were looking for dust mites, household pollutants, even formaldehyde.
Wait, I need to move.
Or you could call 1 hour and improve your IAQ.
That sounds smarter.
Let's see how you do with the disclaimer.
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Not bad.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, Democrats won't talk about ISIS, but we will when Robert Baer, former CIA case officer and counterterrorism expert, joins us at 8:08.
And would you drink beer made from urine?
Yes.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Scott.
Amy and Dan, CPD union officials asking officers to refuse overtime over Labor Day. Amazon announces plans for a warehouse in Romeoville with hundreds of jobs. White Sox, winners again. They shut out the Cubs on the south side. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Democrats made history.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Hillary Clinton nominated for president, just like Bernie Sanders called for moments before, which his supporters didn't like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
They walked out of the arena, some of them, where speaker after speaker then trashed Donald Trump, and former President Bill Clinton praised the real Hillary he knows, not the cartoon Republicans created, he says.
Hillary is uniquely qualified to seize the opportunities and reduce the risk we face.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers live at the convention in Philadelphia.
Well, Dave, when that roll was called and the delegates tallied, Hillary Clinton came out on top and closing the night out by video.
We just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet. Thanks to you and to everyone who's fought so hard to make this possible. This is really your victory.
It was a night for making history, with Clinton becoming the first woman to be nominated for president by a major party. Here's a little more history for you. President Obama will speak tonight, 12 years to the day he gained widespread political recognition for his speech at the DNC as a state senator. Dave.
Tanya will hear from Donald Trump next hour, holding a news conference in Florida. He's already tweeted this morning criticism that Clinton wants to flood America with Syrian immigrants, and the Democratic convention's giving zero respect to police. A new report shows there's an 8% increase in police officers killed in the line of duty this year from the same period in 2015, but the number of those who died from a gun is 78% higher. This days after a Texas sheriff's deputy was shot in the backyard of his home. This neighbor says,
I don't feel safe. I feel that I need to have a loaded gun in my house.
Police are still trying to find Sergeant Craig Hutchinson's killer. A former beauty queen in Pennsylvania has been sentenced up to 4 years in prison for scamming people out of nearly $30,000, faking leukemia, and holding fundraisers as a benefit. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly sunny. We have 73 degrees in Chicago at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A 23-year-old woman was shot and killed on Chicago's south side. Africa Bass was walking early this morning on a sidewalk in the 8700 block of South Burley when shots were fired from a black SUV. She was struck in the back, later transported to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where doctors say she died. Police have a possible offender in custody. The Chicago Police Union is asking officers to refuse working overtime hours during the Labor Day weekend. The FOP says it wants members to turn down the extra hours as a protest of the disrespect of city police and the police killings across the country. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says he'll be working over the holiday.
If we want to show support for our officers, then our responsibility and our oath is to be out there to support each other and to back each other up whenever we're out there on the streets, because that's what we do. We're here to serve and protect, and we do that day in and day out.
Superintendent Johnson says he's not worried right now about a staff shortage. A 20-year-old Wisconsin man accused of killing his neighbor and later a suburban Buffalo Grove woman in a random drive-by shooting has been found competent to stand trial. Zach Hayes is charged with first-degree reckless homicide in the death of his neighbor in suburban Milwaukee, and then 44-year-old Tracy Chakowski in a drive-by shooting on an interstate as Chakowski was traveling back from the Wisconsin Dells. Sox over the Cubs, 3-0. James Shields gets the win. Series shifting to Wrigley Field later tonight. The news, a service of Burger King's grilled dogs. Where are you going to get that delicious grilled hot dog? Your backyard? Nope. Burger King. Burger King grilled dogs made with 100% beef, flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled dog today at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. 8:04 time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, low-cost airline JetBlue could be getting ready to fly to Europe. JetBlue says it's buying 30 additional A321 jets from Airbus. A long-range version of the plane would allow JetBlue to fly across the Atlantic for the first time. Air France KLM says fewer people are flying to Europe this summer. It is blaming the terror attacks in Europe, especially in France. Health insurance company Anthem says it will continue with its plan to buy rival Cigna, even though the Justice Department is suing to block the merger. Anthem is predicting stronger business this year. As expected, Apple reported weaker iPhone sales compared to a year ago when popular large-screen phones made their debut, but Apple's earnings were not as weak as Wall Street expected. Though Nintendo lost money in its recent quarter, earnings did not include Pokemon Go, which only became available in July. The Dow closed down 19 yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's National Make a Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to take care of your will or trust. LegalZoom makes it easy. They're not a law firm, so there's no office visits or paying expensive hourly rates. Instead, you could save over $100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan bundles. And if you don't know whether a will or trust is right for you, don't worry. You'll work with an independent attorney available in 48 states to get advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom.com.
Thousands of people are choosing the flexibility of working when they want, driving with Uber. You'll control your day, plus be able to start earning right away just by driving your own car.
I've got 2 kids. They're both in summer camp, and I'll drop them off. Then I turn on the Uber app, the ride requests come in, and I'm earning extra money. Working when I want, being my own boss. Driving with Uber is definitely the best option for me.
Earn the extra money you need on your schedule. Get started today. Sign up right now. Go to uber.com/drive now. uber.com/drive now.
It is 8:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Let's get the latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We have some heavy tollway delays. Reagan Tollway, it is just a solid mess from Farnsworth all the way to 355, where a crash which had all lanes blocked has now moved to the right shoulder. Then it's slow 83 to the Tri-State as well. Northbound Lakeshore Drive, jammed 31st to Jackson, 35 minutes from Marquette to Jackson. Edens is 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. Kennedy, 44 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. An hour from Manheim, outbound an hour and 3 minutes to Thorndale. The Stevenson is an hour and 3 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 51 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Bishop Ford, slow in both directions, approaching 130th. There was an outbound car fire. Tri-State southbound heavy 120 to 137. Northbound jammed 95th to 47th and Roosevelt to Grand. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, hot and humid with clouds and sun, high 90. Partly cloudy and warm tonight with a late-night shower or thunderstorm around, a low of 68. A shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 74. Next news at 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
In the spring of 1971, I met a girl.
It's 2016, and American women are not going back. We are moving forward.
Already great nation. Donald, did you hear me? Already great nation.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the story coming out of northern France yesterday, Father Jacques Hamel, 85 years old, was made to get to his knees before he was brutally butchered at the Church of the Gambetta in Normandy.
And they did it on the altar.
This is a description of it offered by a nun who escaped the attack, 2 terrorists. They actually filmed what has been described as the beheading of this 85-year-old priest. Before his death, Father Hamel courageously tried to defend his parishioners, the nun also mentioned, who raised the alarm after fleeing the church. Police arrived and killed the terrorists. So ISIS, and this is a terrorist attack. They, the terrorists were shouting "Allahu Akbar." They were took to the altar and performed a quote-unquote sermon in Arabic. Pretty clear, in addition to all of the incidents of terrorist attacks just over the last half dozen days in Germany, in addition to, of course, the last several months of terrorist attacks in Belgium and France and the United States. ISIS is real, but you wouldn't know that to listen to the Democrats talking over the first 40 hours of their convention. For more on the topic, we're now joined by Robert Baer. He's a former CIA case officer, and he is a counterterrorism expert. Robert, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
So the recent spate of terrorist attacks, varying in degree and carnage and execution, what is the thread that ties them together that should inform U.S. policy?
Well, I mean, clearly Europe has got a really bad problem with North African, Middle Eastern immigrants and refugees. We had a Syrian blow himself up a couple days ago. This man that killed the priest, slit his throat, was under watch. He tried to go to Syria twice. They had a bracelet on him, monitoring him. Of course, it didn't do any good. People tell me in France that the killing of this priest has had a much deeper effect on the French than even Nice, running all those people down. And what they're really afraid about, the tension is so high that there's going to be retaliatory murders against people of North African descent or Arab descent. So things are getting worse there, and they have no idea what to do about it. And if you want to really add to the problems, you've got Turkey, which is not going to be allowed into the European Union. You've got refugees are sitting there, and the wars in the Middle East continue on. So the prognosis for more violence is pretty good.
Well, one of the 19-year-old attackers, his mom even came forward, I think, to the BBC, and she said, I told police about him, that he was radicalized, that we needed help, and they didn't do anything. And he's the one who also had the electronic monitoring bracelet on.
Yeah, well, they see that argues for preventive detention. Normally, if it were a foreigner in this country, or France, that was politically motivated like this, religiously motivated, they'd send him home and let the home country deal with him. But the problem is, this man was born in France. He's Algerian descent, but he wasn't Algerian, so the French have nowhere to send him. And you're going to have, and also don't forget that with the Islamic population in Europe, it's the haves and the have-nots. They're poor, uneducated, they have heavy accents. It's much more easier if you're a Muslim in this country to integrate. People just don't much care here, but in France, they do. It makes a big difference here, racially, and again, education.
As somebody who is a practitioner in the space, was an intelligence officer, but has that training and that background, how do you react to the way we're conversing about this problem that we have? It seems to me, I just relay a quick little anecdote about a conversation we've had on this show with Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, who founded the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, peaceful pluralist Muslim leader. And we try to focus in on, there's no problem with Islam, the religion. There is a problem with Islam, the system of political governance. And it seems to me that's a pretty bright line we can draw and focus on Islam as a system of political governance. Because when Christians are in charge of the government, nobody gets beheaded. When Islamists are, that's very different, as we see in these autocratic theocracies. And it just seems to me we have a very difficult time getting to Islam as a system of political governance advanced by radical elements within the Muslim community, and that's where we should be directing our attention.
Well, exactly. You've got governments like Saudi Arabia is promoting the ideology that allows this to happen. I don't think there's anybody that doubts that. And the Saudis still have websites that support the Islamic State that they're hosted in Saudi Arabia, and no one's doing anything. It's just as my pet peeve is we didn't look into Saudi connection with 9/11, and we've all given it a pass, whereas the evidence, the initial evidence, was very strong, showing at some level Saudi support. And there's at some level Saudi support for the Islamic State fighting in Syria and Iraq. And until our so-called allies get along with the program and suppress this stuff, and some countries do suppress it completely, like Jordan. They just don't put up with it. I mean, they've pretty much stamped it out.
Well, how did they go about doing that?
More countries like Jordan, we're going to have more of this.
Well, what did Jordan do?
They've got a system where they arrest these people. They reprogram them at the basement of intelligence headquarters without torture or anything. And the ones that they've turned around, they send to small villages where there's no radical preaching, and they sort of live lives, and they give them, a house and the rest of it. And the other ones that don't go back, they execute them.
What about in this? Well, that's it has finality to it. What about in this country? A lot has been talked about in the wake of the Orlando massacre, San Bernardino before that. The issue of intelligence gathering, both FBI, CIA. Do we have a resource problem in the intelligence community? Do we have a communication problem between various intelligence agencies?
Oh, it's worse than ever.
Okay.
I worked with the FBI to bring somebody in, and they went to Customs and Immigrations, and the guy was on a secondary check, right?
Right.
And the FBI said, well, why is he on a secondary check? We don't have anything on. We can't tell you. So if border protection, the FBI aren't talking. Neither is the CIA and the FBI. They just don't share databases.
Why?
You need legislation. You need Congress to come down and say, you will do it. You will share databases.
And so
that's not been done yet.
This is 15 years after 9/11, where the whole idea was we're going to have intelligence agencies, law enforcement agencies not operate in silos. There is going to be sharing of information, so you can have economies of scale in terms of pursuing and interdicting this kind of illegal activity and terrorist activity.
It's exactly. Or look at the Orlando shooter. I mean, he went and bought an automatic weapon, but no one told the FBI because there's just a criminal check done. It wasn't some sort of national list. So you're absolutely right. 15 years later, and we're no better off.
So all of these attacks, the four that happened in Germany, what happened in France, is ISIS responsible for? I mean, were these trained ISIS, or were these people that were inspired by ISIS?
I think a lot of them are inspired, the knife attacks, the truck attacks, but does it really matter at the end of the day?
Right.
What we should not fall into is the trap is, these people were crazy. They probably would have done something crazy anyhow, and that's what we did with Orlando and with the attack against the priest. And now going into all the kids' psychological problems. Yeah, that's fine, but it's always been that way in religion, in a violent religion, where somebody is psychopathic, finds deep belief, holds on to a cause, and murders for it. It's not new in history, and it really doesn't matter whether it's inspired or directed.
And what about yours? I'd like to get your assessment of the argument that is being offered by some as well, including the Obama administration, that these terrorist attacks are indicative of ISIS diminishing in power. They're losing territory in Syria and Iraq, and this is their way to try and stay relevant, so that this, to some extent, is kind of a backwards way of saying there's actual progress being made despite the body count.
That's Washington make you feel good.
Okay.
ISIS is popping up, forms of it, and even if you destroy it, something will replace it. They just don't want to admit that our policy in the Middle East has failed utterly. And nobody talks about the root causes of this. And there are root causes. And if you're fighting an enemy, you better know why they're fighting in order to stop them.
All right. He is Robert Baer, former CIA case officer and a counterterrorism expert. Robert, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, meet Larry Sanders.
And I finally figured out who he sounds like thanks to a texter.
Yeah, it all relates to Bernie. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine right now, hot and humid, a high of 90. And for tonight's Cub win, you're going to have partly cloudy skies. It's going to be warm. A low of 68 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms in the in the early morning hours around 1 a.m. And then tomorrow, partly sunny, not as warm, but can't rule out a passing shower or thunderstorm, a high of 79. Let's get those travel times. Are you a Sox fan, Jim?
Yes.
I think we already went over that. All right.
Good man.
Do the traffic anyway.
All right. Thanks, Sammy. Good morning. Well, as the series shifts south to north, so is traffic. It is jamming up on the inbound Ryan with a crash on the outbound Kennedy at Madison. The right lane and the off-ramp are blocked. It's already an hour downtown to O'Hare. Inbound 43 minutes. Eden's 23 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 30. The Ike an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound an hour and 3 minutes. The Stevenson still an hour and 3 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 50 minutes. On that Ryan, we're now looking at 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is jammed. 31st to Jackson with street closures for Lollapalooza setup. We have delays on the tollways, including the Reagan Tollway from Farnsworth all the way to 355 with a crash down the right shoulder. The Veterans Memorial has delays out into the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, if you're looking to secure financing on a new home or want to refinance your existing mortgage, then you should do what I do, and that's called David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. Customer service, market knowledge, and low closing costs are what makes David one of the country's top producing loan officers. David's team of experienced loan officers are committed to helping you, your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors with your next real estate transaction. If you complete an online application with mortgage companies touting digital technology, someone with limited knowledge from a hot box call center returns your call. But when you complete an online application at am560david.com, either David or one of his professional loan officers will call you and answer your questions. Technology is only as good as the professional loan officer you work with when you hit submit. So if you want to work with a loan officer who appreciates and values your business, then call David right now. His number is 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. And trust me, now is the time to refinance. Mortgage rates are low. 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Per mortgage and equal housing lender. Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 NMLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy.
Oh, yeah.
I think the estate of Gary Shandling should sue Larry Sanders for polluting that brand. Larry Sanders show was great. That was great TV.
It was.
And now we have to hear from, another socialist from Vermont named Sanders.
Well, Bernie Sanders' little brother is Larry, and he's moved to the UK back in the 70s. And he's a part of the Democrats abroad delegation. I didn't know that they had one, but they were represented. They were on the floor yesterday. And Larry Sanders gave a vote to his brother.
It's like the Pantangeli brother being flown in.
Just listen up. He was emotional, so take that into account.
I want to bring before this convention the names of our parents, Eli Sanders and Dorothy Glassberg Sanders.
Brains.
They did not have easy lives.
Brains.
And they died young. They would be
I want
proud
to eat your
of
brains.
their sons and his accomplishments. They loved him.
Democrats.
Bernie starts
They
crying.
loved the New Deal of Franklin Roosevelt, and we'd be especially proud that Bernard is renewing that vision. It is with enormous pride that I cast my vote for Bernie Sanders.
I couldn't quite place it before.
Yes.
In addition to the kind of Return of the Living Dead reminder, but a little bit of Vincent Price from Thriller. I was trying to place the great actor who did the horror movies, and a texter helped me out. Bela Lugosi. That's who he sounds like.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is. It's
yeah.
Bela Lugosi. That's
And actually, he's got a Northeast accent, but also the UK accent, like a British accent combined. So he sounds a little different. But he was crying the entire time, so that affected his speech a little bit. Did
Yeah.
that move you at all to tears?
No. I was crying, though. I mean, I would have been if I didn't have my tear ducts removed. When the delicate little flower from Evanston, Jan Schakowsky, she was part of the 1 minute speech crew. Listen to Jan.
It's 2016, and American women are not going back. We are moving forward.
So lame. I mean, that is so lame. Why even get up there and speak if you're going to say that?
Wait, hold on a second.
Wait.
Where's Larry Sanders?
Here, right here. Let me help you out.
Yeah.
I want to bring before this convention.
It's 2016.
Pretty close.
It's weird.
That's sort of close.
But yesterday, when they were trying to humanize Hillary Clinton, trying to make us fall in love with her all over again, Senator Barbara Boxer, California, came up there and said, I had no idea that Hillary...
Senator Barbara Boxer. I just want to repeat it because I think she's earned that title.
Yes.
Please refer to her as Senator.
Hillary and Barbara are related.
I know her as the loving aunt who helped plan my grandson's birthday parties when he was just a little toddler. And I saw her rush over after a busy day at the State Department to cheer him on at his high school football games.
Valor. I mean, seriously, if they couldn't paint her as a great mom, she's the best. No, seriously, the best aunt ever is Hillary.
Isn't
it great?
They've tried this shtick for 25 years to turn her into a three-dimensional human being, and her numbers are worse today than they have ever been.
She's a working
It's not
aunt.
working. I mean, it is such a cartoonish effort.
I knew you'd laugh.
Clinton talked about, the Republicans painting her as a cartoon. Barbara Boxer painted Hillary Clinton as more of a cartoon than any Republican even attempted to.
It's really, the valor, to be a
Oh, my
working
God.
aunt in
Planning
this world.
a kid's birthday party after rushing over from ignoring calls from Benghazi. Oh my goodness!
And then Joe Biden, good old Uncle Joe, rolls in.
He's the guy with the alfalfa field planted in the middle of his head, right?
He just couldn't help himself.
Look, they worked hard. We got to show a little class and let them be frustrated for a while. It's okay. They're all going to end up voting for Hillary. So come on, man. Do you think any of these guys are going to walk in and vote for Trump?
He was talking about Bernie Sanders supporters saying, let's let them have their time. Let's let them pout, and eventually they'll vote for Hillary Clinton.
I think you ripped that line from Neil Kinnock. Joe Biden's got a bit of a plagiarism problem.
Hey, I'll plagiarize everybody.
Yeah, and Howard Dean. I was just kind of doing a wrap up of all the
cast of characters from last night.
I mean, we want to get everybody who was at the Star Wars bar yesterday. Howard Dean reprised his famous scream, but he punted it. He didn't do the scream. He just did the run up.
Help make history and volunteer, because this race is going to be won on the ground. And it's going to be won in Colorado and in Iowa and North Carolina and Michigan and Florida and Pennsylvania, and then we're going to the White House.
Yeah. Just say it, Dan. You sound like Chewbacca.
He's like, it was like a...
No, he went, yeah! Like a Donnelly's Wild West. No, go, yeah! Come on. Such
No?
a DuPage County child. Oh, my God.
Like he's like a pterodactyl.
It's even worse. Go, yeah, yeah!
Steve in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, the thing about him and his impeachment, I think there's even worse to remember about the president. Not only did he get impeached, but he even lost his license when he was disbarred in Arkansas.
Thanks for the call, Steve. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, did you know that?
That's how the mighty have fallen. He is so unethical. He is not even licensed to practice law.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Hey, have you seen my SolaTube? Yes, I got one a few weeks ago, and it's the coolest and most affordable home improvement project I've ever done. In only 2 hours, it transformed the darkest room in my home. Now, I heard about SolaTube and how this amazing technology was better than traditional skylights that eventually are going to leak. So I spoke with Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros, Chicagoland's SolaTube premier dealer, and what a great experience. The natural lighting looks beautiful, and my bathroom really seems larger. It's so simple and inexpensive. Katie from Chicago Skylight Pros does a quick consultation, and now I have natural light that brightens my entire home, and it really makes the home look bigger. And it didn't tear apart my roof. So I highly recommend you brighten your home with natural lighting using SolaTube daylighting systems. Call my friend Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros, a SolaTube premier dealer. Call Katie at 844-789-SHINE. That's SHINE, SHINE. Mention me and receive $75 off your first SolaTube. That's 844-789-SHINE, or visit ChicagoSkylightPros.com to view my video and see the before and after pics. You've got to see it. Dan, have you looked at my before and after pics yet?
Stunning.
Go to ChicagoSkylightPros.com. That's ChicagoSkylightPros.com.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live Extract Clear. Call 800-978-3554. That's 800-978-3554. 800-978-3554, or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
AM 560, The Answer.
Did you ever watch Monsters, Inc.? When they try to teach Sully how to roar and scare little kids? You go, roar!
That's how Howard Dean sounds. We got a tweet from the Sears. May want to do a quick call-in contest. Who can do a Howard Dean scream after those attempts? All right, we'll take your calls. Also, Wiener goes down at 8:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott. Come on, Mike. Can you growl?
Not today. Maybe tomorrow. 76 degrees outside. Sunshine. For the first time in U.S. history, a woman is a major party nominee for president. Delegates to the Democratic National Convention formally nominate Hillary Clinton last night. The Democratic nominee was then introduced by former President Bill Clinton, who says his wife has spent a lifetime making others better.
Hillary is uniquely qualified to seize the opportunities and reduce the risk we face. And she is still the best darn change maker I have ever known.
Just moments ago, President Obama on NBC saying there's always a possibility that Donald Trump could win the election.
Until those votes are cast and the American people, have their say, we don't know.
The president on the Today Show this morning. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump says he'll support raising the federal minimum wage to $10 an hour. Trump telling Fox News he'd back the increase in order to help those who are struggling to make work pay for them. California Governor Jerry Brown and others in that state are declaring a state of emergency because of two fast-moving wildfires burning out of control. One, the sand fires in the foothills of L.A. 23-year-old woman shot and killed on Chicago's South Side streets. Africa Bass, walking on a sidewalk early this morning, was shot and killed in the 8700 block of South Burley. Chicago police telling us they have a possible offender in custody. A Cook County jail inmate accused of kidnapping and raping a teen is now charged with sexually assaulting his cellmate. Prosecutors say that man, Gerard Greer, went on the attack in April while the other man and Greer were in custody together. The Gary, Indiana man has been ordered held on $500,000 bond. White Sox beat the Cubs 3-0. The series shifting to Wrigley Field tonight. The news, a service of Aruba Tourism. Aruba is your shortcut to relaxation. Unwind with Aruba's cooling trade winds or bask in the crystal blue Caribbean. Hop a nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your shortcut to happiness today at Aruba.com. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Here Maps, the free app that helps you beat the jam with live traffic info and public transit schedules. Get it now at here.com/commute.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Dr. Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery agree.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery in Arlington Heights, Elgin, and Lake Zurich. As an oral surgeon and business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that responds quickly and creatively and understands the unique needs of healthcare practices. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner. Has helped me grow my practice and seize opportunities as they come up. Whether it's a line of credit, financing equipment, or real estate, Cornerstone is there for me.
Thank you, Doctor. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
8:37, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy, delays started Central. It's 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 45. Edens, 23 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 35 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. It's 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 57 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. The Rhine is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, still Belmont to Fullerton and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound jammed, solid 31st to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State delays, 87th to the Hinsdale Oasis and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Adams Tollway, so Higgins to Meacham and Elmhurst to Lee. Reagan Tollway from the Aurora Toll to Naperville Road and 22nd to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial, stop and go Boughton to Maple with a crash on the left side. Make that the right side, and then it's Heavy Lake to 290. Traffic Answer is when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds and sun throughout the day. Hot and humid and a high of 90. Currently 78 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Listen to Freedom any time of any day. Go to walshfreedom.com/podcast. Freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, well, this news just came over the transom. John Hinckley Jr., the Reagan would-be assassin, no longer poses a threat to the society and will be freed after 35 years of confinement and psychiatric treatment to live with his mother in Williamsburg, Virginia. This Fox News reporting. Are they going to free John Hinckley Jr.? What do you think about that?
That's
He must have given Ms. Morgan Freeman's speech before the parole board.
Yeah, he must have. Well, we knew it was going to be coming eventually, but I'm sure the neighbors, the people in that neighborhood, probably aren't too happy with that decision. But you hope that he'll be properly monitored. I mean, he is going to be living with his mom, but does she still have her faculties? Because she's got to be up there in age too.
Well, I have no
but
idea.
If you try to assassinate a president, should you really ever be freed again?
That to me is the question.
And Brady's paralyzed, was in a wheelchair, and others were shot. I mean, it's just
Tim McCarthy, Orland Park.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say you try to assassinate the President of the United States.
You should have life in prison.
Even if you're of sound mind and body and you the determination you don't pose a threat. Yeah, that's kind of you don't get out of jail.
I wonder how Jodie Foster feels. I mean, because he did that because of trying to prove something to her, right?
Yeah.
Remember?
I remember. Now, you remember where you were? That's like
I was
one of those moments.
I was homesick that day, and I was watching TV. I was homesick that day. I'll never forget it. And then when I went to D.C. to cover some NTSB trials, I stayed in that hotel because I was so obsessed. I wanted to see where it happened and stayed in the Hilton.
Home from school, college.
No. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, because I called in sick for college. Mm-hmm. Where were you that day?
Was home for second grade to have lunch. Not kidding. Yeah.
And you never went back to school, right?
No, that's it. I remember watching on TV. I mean, it's like people that are
I remember
older than
I didn't
us.
Stop watching.
People, obviously, everybody remembers like the space shuttle, the Reagan assassination attempt. If you're of the age, John F. Kennedy being assassinated, of course. I mean, it's just one of those things that you remember.
You were there
exactly
for that.
Where
were you when he got assassinated?
I was.
You were on the grassy knoll.
Okay, Donald Trump, implicating me. I was standing next to Rafi Cruz. What's wrong with you? Speaking of what's wrong with people, Anthony Weiner's in the news.
Yes, he is.
And I like it when he is.
Yeah, because he wants to run for mayor again, only if Donald Trump Jr. runs for mayor of New York.
A lot of talk about Donald Trump Jr. potentially being a New York up-and-coming political star. What do you make of that, and are you considering another run for the mayor?
Here's what I got for you. You think I don't care about Fox 5? Here's what I'm about to do for you. Stand by.
Hit me.
3, 2, 1. The only thing that could make me come out of retirement and run for mayor again is if anyone named Trump ran. Oh. I would come out of retirement just to beat him like a rented mule, and then I'd turn the keys back over to de Blasio.
Wow. Donald Trump Jr. took to Twitter.
Yeah, he responded, and very, very much like his father, I think, would. Too soon, Anthony. You probably shouldn't be talking about beating anything ever again. Go back to your cave. That's a nice rejoinder from Trump Jr.
But Donald Trump Sr., Donald Trump donated money to Weiner's campaign. Yes, folks, it's true.
In this very New York-centric world, Donald Trump donated to you.
Totally.
As a New Yorker.
Even a broken clock is right once a day or twice a day, whatever the expression is.
I hope it wasn't because of their fondness for Twitter such that we'll ever see those kind of package pics from Trump Sr. I don't want to see that.
Do you think if you're his wife, Uma Abedin, that you take away the smartphone forever? I mean, really, just take it. You're banned from life from this form of technology.
Have you
that he doesn't sext again?
Have you seen the documentary about that tool?
No, I was looking for that over the weekend. I couldn't find it.
It's on demand. It's on demand.
I have cable. So
It's. I mean,
in the documentary section.
It's. However bad you think he is, he's worse than that.
Okay.
But the interesting thing about the documentary is you actually hear Uma speak.
Oh.
And that doesn't happen a lot. She's a behind-the-scenes player there at Cam Clinton. And it's very interesting, and it's fascinating.
What is she like as a woman? I mean, well, how does the documentary portray her?
It portrays her fairly well. I mean, it portrays her as a bit tortured and probably regretting every day that she made the decision to marry that individual. And
did it show the baby?
And
Like,
have
who
a
takes
child
care of the
with him.
baby?
Yeah.
Does he take care of the baby?
They showed some pictures of him, playing with the baby and also using the baby as a political prop.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's Anthony Weiner. That's your modern Democrat Party. Mark in Des Plaines, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The reason why Hinckley got out was because they hated Reagan so much. The Democrats, the unions, the media, all of them hate Reagan, and especially Reagan. He was the greatest president of the last century.
So I'm guessing you don't think John Hinckley Jr. should ever be released.
Absolutely never. He should have. If it were reversed, if that had happened against a Democrat president, then that individual, would be. They probably would have executed him. So that's the difference. That's the difference.
Thanks.
It's an unplayed. We are at war here. This is a war of ideas, and it's for the future of this country. We cannot let Hillary and all of her ilk are against us, the people, and it's not only that. It's all of the people who work for the government. All of the government workers are Democrats, and
Well, not all of them. Not all of them. Thanks.
99% of them.
No, thanks for the call, Mark. That's not true. There's nothing wrong. You're not a bad person because you work for the government. I mean, I've worked for.
You've worked for the government.
I've worked for state government. I've worked for local government. I'm a great person. I'm the best person. And so, I like. There's the public sector unions. There's some of these entrenched interests that are just impenetrable to logic or math or evidence, financial soundness. But I mean, there's nothing inherently dishonorable in working for a unit of government. So I don't want to play that game because I don't believe that. I don't think that's true. People who work in the public sector, it's like people in the private sector, just people. It's a mixed bag like anywhere. Radio.
Make me
How
sing
about
my
media?
people song.
Greg in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy, how are you?
Good.
Good. Talking about people in government, and the mayor's Weiner's comment about the mayoralty. That's the reason why you have the nature of his comment or the nature of anybody in politics in New York is very much like Trump. And that's the reason why you just have to take Trump and say it's New York lingo and translate it into Midwestern.
I guess. Thanks for the call, Greg. And Anthony Weiner, to have an individual like Anthony Weiner in politics and become the spectacle that he became proves what we should all understand to be true, that God has a sense of humor.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Coming up next, why salad makes you fat and poor, and would you drink beer made from urine? It's called the Sewer to Brewer machine, and yes, people are using it. But first, here's your forecast. We have plenty of sunshine right now, a high of 90 degrees. Tonight for the Cubs, Sox Crosstown Classic. Last time, we broke the glass ceiling, excuse me.
The Cubs have taken such a pounding, you can't even speak English.
It's going to be partly cloudy tonight. A shower and thunderstorm real late in the evening. And then for Thursday, we're going to have sunshine. Can't rule out a passing shower or thunderstorm, a high of 79. Here's a man who never gets tongue-tied. It's Jim Telemonte.
We'll try a little on English for a second. We have a closure now of Cermak on the south side between Morgan and Ashland. That's for Fiesta del Sol, which is this weekend. And, of course, the street closures downtown for Lollapalooza are causing a big backup on Lakeshore Drive. Just jammed northbound from 31st up to Jackson. The Edens is 21 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound, it's 50 minutes. The Kennedy, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, 45. The Eisenhower is an hour and 20 minutes again from Thorndale to downtown. A full hour from Manheim. Outbound, 50 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. The Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow 87th to LaGrange Road from the Stevenson to 31st. And Roosevelt to North Avenue. The Reagan toll is improving, but it's still slow Farnsworth to Washington and 22nd to the Tri-State. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world.
Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. Now, I've done the research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues, Dennis Prager and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106th out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. Now, that demand helps sell your home fast at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I was selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd definitely call Saul. 888-346-0666.
There's no time for that. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Saul, S-A-U-L.net. Call Saul.net or 888-346-0666.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I like beer. It's my favorite.
Beer bottle mama, red hot mama, and ice cold.
4 days after I started taking it.
I like beer.
Not had to have a steroid shot.
Beer bottle mama.
The reason why I'm taking
I can't take this much longer. I gotta have a beer.
Took a few months,
well, I think I'll have a beer.
We
don't have no beer, just tequila.
What
was tequila?
It's
like beer.
It works.
Is it fattening?
Call now to find out how
Forget
to
it.
get
If it's
your
like
free
beer, we'll
month
have some.
supply
3
of
tequila.
Balance of Nature.
Sure, amigo.
246
Enjoy yourself.
751.
I started to lick it off my elbow and it tasted good.
751.
We have the makings of an alcoholic.
It tastes like rich people's beer.
Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
I got time for one more round and a six-pack.
Dan and Amy,
tomorrow
quick, another breaking news story. The officers awaiting trial in the Freddie Gray case, charges dropped against the officers that have yet to be tried after 4 acquittals. So that is over, and all of the officers go free. And Marilyn Mosby, the DA out there, she didn't have the time to preside over the DNC like former Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake, Mrs. Safe Space to Riot. Mosby should be brought up on sanctions, professional sanctions, for pursuing that case for political reasons. There was never a prayer that any of those officers were going to be convicted. These were bench trials, didn't even come close to the reasonable doubt standard of evidence in the case.
Yeah, so that's the breaking news. 4 of those remaining police officers cleared, charges dropped, and then also John Hinckley Jr.
Where do they go to get their reputations back?
I don't know. Let me know if they find a good place. But and then also the Reagan shooter, John Hinckley Jr. is going to be released from a mental hospital. So.
All right, and then in other important news,
news.
You can turn urine into beer. That's what I call an IPA.
Oh, gross. It's called Sewer to Brewer, and they're actually doing this in Belgium because they love their beer in Belgium. So basically you can, because it's a solar energy tank that heats up your urine and separates the fertilizers from water, so then you can drink your urine someday. That's new technology that's happening.
The Flemish I've been doing this for years. They're way behind me.
So once you take that water, then there is a 10-day music festival, and they use that water to brew beer. So the brew name is Sewer to Brewer Machine. And these people drank, it was at a music festival, theater festival, and They used the water. They had 1,000 liters of water from the urine of the revelers, and then the next day they drank their own urine.
Well, that's exactly.
It was turned into beer.
It's a beautiful thing. And here's the next iteration of that. Now you kind of have to get to making it more portable, right? So now instead of like you wear those, I'm sure you do as well. You wear those batting helmets with the two tubes that come down, and right, so you can drink off from your head, right on top of your head. Classy, and functional.
That hat says I like to party.
That's right.
Who doesn't?
No question about it. So now what you do
you party?
You have the two tubes still, that place coming off of your batting helmet where you have your beer cans and your beverage, but then also you can have a catheter running up to your mouth. So
and a little
it's kind
solar
of a
panel
full cycle of beer production and consumption. It can be nonstop. You see what I'm doing there?
They want to use the device at sports venues and even airports to transform collected urine into water and then eventually into beer, or you could just drink the water.
I got the ShamWow guy who's going to be pitching my beer helmet catheter thing on an infomercial, so you're going to look for that late at night.
You never have to leave the bar stool. You could just sit there and just drink and pee and drink and pee.
That's right. You know what? And
a nonstop circle.
That's called making America great again. Let me tell you that, sister. Kurt and Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I think this is pure insanity. Who is the genius that thinks they want to drink their own urine?
Yeah.
You don't have enough water. We have oceans, and you're going to try to turn piss into beer?
Well, it's ultimate.
Turning crap into pudding?
Thanks for the call, Kurt. Very colorful.
Did you say turn crap into pudding?
It's getting very graphic.
Pudding,
and look, the Belgians know what they're doing when it comes to the beer.
No, they do. They have. You mentioned yesterday that they have a pipeline. There's one place that has 20 bars, and they can't get the beer trucks down there, so they put a pipeline in, directly piping the beer into each bar.
They took a Simpsons episode and turned it into reality. That's how committed to beer the Belgians are, and I respect them.
I can't take this much longer. I gotta have a beer.
Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I'm the chair for the company picnic committee, and I'm overwhelmed with finding the perfect catering partner.
Don't be freaked out by that. Tasty Catering has done our company picnic every year for the last 5 years. I actually went to Tasty Catering's kitchen first to taste the food. They served juicy burgers right from the grill, fresh salads, awesome sides, and fun foods for the kids. Last year, we even had delicious brisket and an entire pig roast.
Can they handle all the details? There's not much time to plan.
Planning was even easier. Tasty Catering handled every detail, from serving pieces to inflatables for the kids, the DJ, and of course, the bar area.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Just go to tastycatering.com. The pricing was right, and our CFO signed off on the contract immediately.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus and locations, entertainment options, and more. That's tastycatering.com.
TriStar Estates is thrilled to call the Kankakee County Fair home this year. Literally speaking, TriStar Estates will have one of their brand new champion model homes at this year's fair, and you can experience their exciting walkthrough exhibit. The Kankakee County Fair takes place August 3rd through 7th at the Kankakee County Fairgrounds. TriStar Estates is raffling prizes at the fair and offering special promotions during August. For details about the TriStar Estates community in advance of the Kankakee County Fair, check out TriStarEstates.com or call TriStar Estates at 815-932-0200. Visit the TriStar Estates Champion Model Home at the Kankakee County Fair for a great time and learn all about the changing trend of the manufactured home living environment. You'll see how wonderful these beautiful and affordable homes really are. Call 815-932-0200 for more info or visit TriStarEstates.com. That's TriStarEstates.com.
You've heard it. Illinois has the highest taxes in the nation.